Light and darkness. One cannot exist without the other.
There?
I'm here.
Hey there. Good, man. Sound good?
You see ya.
Dude, I'm getting rusty. It's been like 2 months since I've live streamed.
It's been a little, it's been a minute.
Oh, wow. But actually today at noon, I was on a Google Meets video chat with a really cool guy. Yeah, it was like I was almost interviewing him in a sense. In fact, I'll bring up his channel on YouTube. I saw him on Twitter about maybe not even 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And of course, it was about Satan.
No. Yeah.
So I'm like, my kind of subject, my topic.
We're talking about that guy these days.
Yeah, a lot of that talk. So this guy, his name's Taylor McMahon. Irish. He okay, you know Dr. Jordan Peterson, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Brilliant guy. Yeah.
Did you see the drama with Dr. Jordan Peterson and some James Lindsay guy talking about they're talking about the devil and stuff?
Yeah. I don't think so. I haven't seen anything real recent.
Okay.
I mean, I've been going through some of the old the Sean Ryan shows, and he interviewed him on there, and that was pretty interesting. That was a really, anytime somebody's interviewing him, it's going to be pretty interesting. I mean,
we got a guy in chat here saying he's here. What's up, buddy?
Yeah,
he's follow each other on Twitter.
Yeah.
So welcome to the show, dude. This is a really boring, casual, off the record hangout, so we'll try to keep it somewhat entertaining. But anyway, so you're aware of Jordan Peterson. Okay. Well, he dropped the ball like big time. Like a goddamn earthquake size dropping.
Yeah.
I already, of course, forget exactly what the problem was, but it was a major blooper in his discussion about like the devil and God and all this stuff. So this Taylor chimes in, and Taylor writes this little paragraph about, he can't believe Dr. Jordan Peterson with all of his education, and he's supposedly the expert on this subject, how he could possibly think this. Like, he's like, this is stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was something to that degree. And so then he starts rattling off about Satan. He says, first of all, Satan is not his name, it's a title. And I'm like, what? He said, Lucifer is not his name, nor is Morning Star. He said, no one knows his real name. And I'm like, no fucking way.
That's it.
And first time I've heard of it. He said it adds to the mystery. He said, we don't actually know his real name. All of those names. And he starts dropping fact bombs why he was named Lucifer, where it came from, why he was named Morning Star. That was like an astrological event. Some, what do you call it? Prophet scholar guy, hundreds of years ago, witnessed like Venus falling from the sky or some damn thing and named it something. And then the Christians chimed in and said, "Oh, that sounds like a good name." So they gave that to Satan. Yeah. This guy blew me the fuck away. I'm like, this dude's like fucking just you know me in the term expert. I'm like, he's an expert at not only religion but history, historical and religious facts. This guy's like half our age. I'm like, holy shit. So obviously I started, replying and stuff.
And I'd be willing to give Dr. Peterson a pass on some of that. I mean, he's a psychologist, not a theologian. So
right.
He's not going to get them all right, but
right. But it was something major. And
probably
I'll find it here in a minute on Twitter. It'll take me a minute because it was like a couple weeks ago. So anyways, long story short, I go back and forth just a couple times with Taylor on Twitter about, the devil and how he has no name that we know of. And blah, 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 blah. And then I guess I was feeling really good that day because I DM'd him. And I never DM people, especially someone I don't really know, because they hate that. People don't like getting DM'd on Twitter if they don't know you.
Right.
So just
friends in there.
feeling a little fucking big that day, I guess. And I DM'd him and I was like, hey, I said, I know people don't like DMing, and if you don't have time, I understand, blah, blah, blah. I like 10 apologies at first, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't mean to bug you. But I said, this is my subject. I'm working on this series for years. And I said, I would love to be able to speak with you. I said, and I offered him money. I said, dude, I can pay you this much for a little of your time. I said, it can be email, phone call, I don't care, live stream, whatever. I said, you tell me how you want to communicate and if this amount's good, and then you set the time and date. I didn't even think he'd respond because he's up, like his channel's got like 17,000 members. You know what I mean? He's kind of up there, not big, but he's climbing, right? And he's a real clean cut guy. Clean cut, dude. Very well spoken. Just the complete opposite of me. So he's probably like, who the fuck is this Yahoo? You know what I mean?
Well, I'm pretty clean cut these days.
You're more clean cut than I am. You look good. But you got your little thing? Yeah, you got it. Do you have your little?
Yeah, it's just
little gray blends in.
Well,
I'll send you a marker to color it in.
Years ago, my mom used to laugh and say, you got some dirt on your lip, when I was a kid. And I knew things had changed one year when I was over at my aunt and uncle's house for Thanksgiving, and my aunt says, you got some mashed potatoes on your chin.
That's bad.
Yeah, I knew it was bad then.
Yeah, I'm getting that gray streak fucking shit going on here. So whatever. Anyways, enough about our fucking hair. So to my shock and pleasant surprise, about 10 minutes later, Taylor DMs me back. Not only does he DM me back, it's like paragraph after paragraph after paragraph. I'm like,
they like shit about it. Yeah.
Okay, so this guy's cool as fuck. So he starts DMing me links to these books. This is the best book. Like the first book, he said, it's the best book on planet Earth about the subject.
Yeah.
He's like, check it out. And then all this stuff. And he says, of course, he's like, I'll talk to you. And he's like, I'm not taking your money. He's like, I don't do that. And I was like, that's cool. And I was like, I insist. Seriously, it's for your time. He's like, no, man. I'm like, wow, that's cool.
Well, he's like those gun guys, we'll talk guns for free,
Yeah. Well, you never know, because I don't know how it works these days. Some people kind of want that. Well, it's my time and I don't know you. So, you know what I mean? I don't fucking know. I'd rather offer and have them say no than not offer and say, well, yeah, for this, but you know what I mean?
I've heard of people getting invited out to dinner with some people, and well, how much are you going to pay me? No, we're having dinner together, man. Nobody's getting paid.
Right. Well, fortunately, this guy. Oh shit, Wookie's here. Hey, man, hey guys, I apologize. I'm rusty. It's been 2 months since I've done this, so I'm slow. Erik, I told you about Wookie Fever, right? Or no? The show I do Sunday morning with him.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy? Yeah, Wookie. This is fuck, dude. You should come. I should bring him in. Hey, Wookie, if you're hanging tonight, I'll add the link to chat, and if you want to come in and hang with us and talk, you can. If not, it's cool. I get it, but give me 2 minutes to get this fucking story out, and then I'll add the link. All right. So Taylor starts talking. Everything's cool. I'm like, God, this guy's fucking cool. And he's like, yeah, sure. We'll get together sometime. And he mentions Google Meets, and I'm like,
okay,
fuck is that? I have no clue what the fuck it is. So I'm like, well, I ain't gonna blow this. I'll figure it out.
Like that Twitter. What was it they used to have?
Yeah, I think it's like Skype
Twitter
or
is
something
like that. I think, yeah.
It's one of those. Everyone's got their different fucking video chat platforms. Well, apparently this is one.
A different name.
And I'm all registered with Google, so I'm like, it can't be that hard. Google has all my info, so you know what I mean.
Yeah, they got everybody's, I think.
Yeah, no shit. So all of a sudden, a couple of days later, he's like, hey man, Saturday noon, I can give you a half hour. And I was like, holy shit. Because I was going to say, hey, Saturday night. And I was going to be like, Eek, I got to cancel, buddy. I hate to do this to you, but this guy's.
I wouldn't hurt my feelings, man.
Well, he's a day shifter. He needed a night shifter like us. So this guy's a day shifter. And noon, I said, fucking perfect. So yeah, today at noon. And again, he is so much cooler on live stream.
Person, kind of.
So much more casual and laid back than his videos and on Twitter and stuff. And I even joked about him. I said, because I was trying not to cuss the whole time I was talking. And you know how I can get.
It's hard to do sometimes, isn't it?
Very hard for me, especially. And I slipped up. I think I said bullshit. And I was like, I'm sorry. And he starts laughing. I said, I know you don't like to cuss. And he laughs and says, I do. He's like, I just not on Twitter in my videos. And he's laughing. I said, okay, that's cool. Because I don't want to offend you. You know? Because he's really clean cut. He's a Catholic, like Roman Catholic. That was the first connection. I told him, I said, I was born and raised Catholic, right? But I'm not practicing Catholic, and I didn't go into detail, but I said, I am not what they call a Bible banger in the good old days, And he's like, I understand, I hear you, and he stayed fine with it. And he said, he kind of gets harassed sometimes too from other people because he subscribes to the basically the ancient medieval church, old Roman Catholic. And I said, dude, that's what I want. I said, guitars and synthesizers and fucking TV screens is fun and all, but I want the Roman Gothic, immaculate gold and marble church with the chanting and Latin. I want that medieval. Well, he does too. So right off the bat, I'm like, we're cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, we click. We come from the same place, religion-wise, because that is like.
That's cool. Yeah.
It's like a salad bar. You take your Confucianism, your Tao, remember?
Yeah.
Big Trouble in China. That's what religion's like. It's like Catholic, Protestant, Baptist, Methodist, blah 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 blah. Fucking what the hell? What is what? It's well, we take some of this, but we leave this out. Or we take some. Go to the. Foundation, base, rock bottom, base of the pyramid, the ancient Roman Catholic Church. That's what I think is cool.
Yeah.
He does too. So anyways, we ended up talking for an hour, man. It was like, dude, I was watching the clock. In fact, the night before, I wrote my questions and notes for him.
Wow. Yeah.
I had seven questions. Because I'm like half hour, me, I can talk 3 fucking hours or more. And I'm like, this has got to be rapid fire. Bam, 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 bam. You know what I mean? So I just started, I explained to him why. I said, this whole book I've been working on, I started 12 years ago. And I said, I consider you an expert. I said, I just want your like acknowledgement / permission of all these different things. So here we go. And I just started going down this list. Well, thanks. However, I'm out with hold on.
Yeah. Going to enjoy dinner.
Here's Wookie. Thanks. However, I'm out with the in-laws right now. Oh God, I'm sorry. My condolences. I feel for you.
Love it, man.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool, Wookie. Well, I'll tell you what, if we, believe it or not, I know it may be hard to believe, but EK and I can talk and talk and talk and talk. We hit a record 8.5 hours on the phone one night straight.
Yeah.
8.5 hours started like 11:30 at night, and it was like the sun was risen. It was like 7:30 in the morning.
Was that the morning the guy was trying to cut off my neighbor's catalytic converter? I was out there yelling at him. I was like, hold on, let me get the F out of here.
I was like, Eek, man. I said, this has been over 8 hours, dude. I said, this is a work shift. I said, we got to hang the fuck up, you know? And you're like, that's cool. I guess we should, huh? What?
We did one of these that was over 6.
Oh, yeah, the live streams, we can go. Yeah. And that kills me because I'm dying for a smoke and my coffee's cold. I need more. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, and we're going to do it tonight. If you're set. If we go one of these long things, I'm cutting the camera for about 5 minutes. We'll take a 5-minute break, and I'll get all my fucking drugs in me and shit, and then we'll come back on.
Right. If I had a laptop, I'd go outside and have a cigar while I was doing this.
So, anyways, so it went great, man. It was an hour long. He answered every question, and Eek, cool. I'm happy to say. I am greatly relieved.
So it's safe because following him now on X, right?
I did, dude. I did as soon as I did a while ago. He I don't want to say his claim to fame, but he got a lot of recognition because he's the guy who did the video about Joe Rogan and the dragons. Do you remember a couple months back?
Yeah. When
Joe Rogan talked about dragons and that fucking bitch on The View is like, Joe Rogan believes in dragons. And I'll never heard, what's her name? Joy Behar?
Yeah. God,
and it her. No one can. And so it would go viral and all this stuff. And I was talking about, and I'm like, fuck yeah. I said, I believe they existed. It's like they're all over the place. In history, it's like even mentioned in the Bible and all this. And
there's something, you know.
So this Taylor made a video about Joe Rogan believing in dragons. And I saw that video, and I'm like, this fuck is cool. So I followed him, subscribed to his channel, all this stuff. And then, kind of back and forth with him, but no real interaction for about a month, well, about 2 months maybe. And then this Satan thing came up, and I'm like, bam, another great one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, then the interaction started and all this stuff, and so here we are today. So anyways, I got a membership to his channel. I'm like, well, if he won't accept my money, I can pay $5 a month to be a member on his channel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was saying that the good news, thank God, dude, everything I asked him about that involves between demons and angels, he said is cool. It's either, that is how it is, or there was only one thing that I knew he was going to basically have an issue with. I said, I know the answer before I even asked you this, because I've read it by research, all the different opinions. And I said, it is 50-50, just like the country. It's divided. Half the people say this and half the people say this. And I said, I know what the answer is, but I got to tell you anyways. And I said, there's a debate on if angels are all men or if there's female angels. And he nodded and said, in the Bible, they're all male. I said, I know. I said, I know that.
Any thought? Yeah.
But I said, do you know there's about half the people out there, Christians, whatever, that believe they're female as well? And he said, it's not canon, but it's possible, it's believable, it's acceptable. He said, because, and I know this is what angels can take different forms. They can turn invisible. They can take forms of animals. They can take form. So he said, it could take the form of a woman, So he said, you're not too far off there. He said, some would say it's heresy. And I'd like, well, I'll give a shit. I'm used to that, you know. Satanist, bad guy, whatever. And he's laughing. He's like, I've been called Satanist too. Don't worry. I'm like, really? I'm like, that's cool. Crazy. But that was it, dude. Everything else I asked him about. I told you about the blueprint in Revelations of Kingdom of Heaven. Yeah, he was aware of that. But he said it's kind of. He said Revelations is really weird.
Yeah,
I said that's why I love it. That's why I love that shit.
Yeah.
He said a lot of people don't know how to interpret Revelations, so they don't. And I said that's the shit that I like.
Yeah,
because
got it right.
If you don't understand it, I want to understand it. You know, people are like, "Oh, I don't understand. Let's move on." I'm like, "Fuck no! Let's dig in. Let's search it. Let's dissect the shit out of this. I want to know." You know what I'm saying? I went through basically the step-by-step procedure of how it was all just God, angels. There was no sin. There was no hell. There was no devil and all that stuff because, you know, Lucifer was a angel, you know.
Right.
And how, I said, so what do you think about the original sin being envy? And I explained it to him. And I said, think about it. There's no murder and adultery or anything going on in heaven. There's no sins in heaven until Satan becomes envious of Jesus. Technically, that would be the first fracture. And he said, that makes sense. I can see it. I was like, you know what I mean? I said, let's just go over about angels becoming fallen angels, the Nephilim, and are they all demons? And yeah. So again, angels who became fallen angels became demons, right? I got that right. Okay. I explained to him the mirror image theory I have, how angels and demons are mirror opposites. They're opposite, but they're the same because they are from the same family, the same blood, so to speak. They're family, right? God's children, 1/3 left. Doesn't mean they're not related anymore, you know? He thought that was actually really cool too. He does. I asked him, I said, so the Nephilim, the giants, I'm like, what do you think? He's like, yeah, they exist. I'm like, fuck, this guy's cool. Yeah. He is so schooled in religion.
Right. He knows it inside out.
You're so used to them saying, well, that's just you know, it's poetic. It's the giants didn't really rob me. That's what I was waiting for. He's like, I've done a lot of studies. There's a lot of records outside of the Bible about giants. So I was telling about the Serpent Mound in Ohio. I said, I'm from Ohio. When I was fucking grade school, I did a Serpent Mound report.
I'm still trying to get my wife to go out there with me.
You gotta go because I told you, dude. They did the geological X-ray, whatever the fuck it's called, and they found, big surprise, giant-sized skeletal bones in the fucking mound, dude. Yeah. We were taught, they buried their shamans, the shamans of the tribe, the leaders, the special people. Bullshit. They buried fucking giants because the giants were around and they probably worked with the Indians.
There's another part to that thing too that they pushed down over the hill, I guess. It's at the bottom of the hill. I can't remember what it was. But there was some other piece of it that they kind of...
You should look up because there is a mine. I forget what it is, but it's a weird, rare mineral mine that the UFO people believe it fuels the ships that the aliens mine this. Guess where there's a mine a fucking half a mile from the Serpent
down the road.
Down this hill. There's this cave in this. I don't know if it's fucking cobalt or what the hell it is, but it's some mineral that is precious, they believe, to the aliens.
Yeah. And
it's like I don't know if it's partially radioactive or something, but there's some sort of energy you can detect from this mineral. Right?
Giving off a signature,
a signature, and they can detect the signature at the Serpent Mound, and that's where they found it.
That's funny. Wow.
Coincidence? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the burial mounds are for the giants, dude. Yeah. Not shamans and shit. It's the fucking giants. But they lied to us, you know? So Taylor totally is on board. Yeah. And he has all these facts and historical documents. He really said, you got to read the book of Enoch. So he sent me the link. he did an audio book. Listen, he basically did an audio book himself of the Book of Enoch, but he said it's like in layman's terms. And I said, that's mine right there. That's me. I'm a layman, So I got to listen to that. I got to listen to his audiobook on the Book of Enoch because he said a lot. He said you would love it. He said you would love the Book of Enoch. We got into the Book of Enoch. What else? I asked him about angelic possession.
Layman's terms for everybody.
Yeah. I asked about angelic possession. He made a funny face. I said, yep, I kind of agree. I said, I haven't found any actual good documentation, just a lot of crystal ladies in California who talk about it. And he kind of laughed. He's like, yep.
Yeah.
And then I think the last question I asked him was, can a demon be destroyed permanently, forever? Like, can a demon be killed?
Sorry.
Is that you? Oh, that's all right. He said, I don't think so. I'm like, no shit.
Really?
He doesn't think a demon can be killed or destroyed.
That's
I'm like, that is interesting. And I'm like, huh. So that's, again, going to be my, what do you call that? Creative freedom in my story, because obviously I've told you the whole thing about, the demons and the angels and all that stuff. So in my little fantasy universe, demons can be killed, which means angels can as well, because they basically are the same. But he doesn't believe.
He's saying they can't. That's interesting.
And I brought up exorcism. I said, do you believe in exorcism? And he said, without doubt. He didn't blink or nothing. He said, yeah. He said, it's real. He said, I've seen things. I've witnessed things. I'm like, wow. He said, yeah, it's serious. He said, it's real. I'm like, Jesus, man. And so I said, when they exorcise a demon, all they're doing is they're forcing it out of the body, the victim's body, the host. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not killing it.
Right.
And he said, exactly right. He said, it's just, they're banishing it. They're not killing it. And that's why he said he doesn't think demons can be killed. But
kicking them out,
dude, it was a great hour conversation we had, man.
The thing I sent you today, which I know you probably, I'm sure you didn't have time to get into.
I didn't have time to see it yet.
Yeah. So that guy talked a little bit about that, how some people saw Jesus, or maybe it was Paul, I think. Paul exorcising demons out of people. And these guys said, well, we're going to try that too. And they tried it out and it didn't work out too good for them.
Really?
Yeah, because I guess when they tried it, the way this guy described it was he knew who Jesus was, the demon knew who Jesus was, knew who Paul was, but he's like, who are you? Meaning he didn't know them because they weren't with God.
Wow.
So they were just in there for entertainment purposes, I guess, trying it out. And apparently they left with no clothes on running.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. So when you see people you think are crazy, well, for some reason they like to strip you naked before they send you running away, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, we've all seen things like that, even if it was just on TV or something.
Right.
Most of the time is somebody drug addled or something, but
right.
It'd be that too, somebody that's possessed.
All right, I'm going to see if I'm going to bring up his. There
it is. Yeah, that thing I sent you was pretty interesting. I think you might like that. Man. Let's see.
Is this it?
Oh, you're pulling it up.
Hang on a second.
Yeah, you hope to
I'm
send
trying to.
X stuff and I'll link to him.
Share screen. Okay, hold on. There it is. There it is. Okay, here we go, man. Hey, dude, this is him. Taylor McMahon. Okay. See?
Yeah.
This is his YouTube channel. Look at that. 17.9K subscribers.
It's got the elongated heads and everything over there. That's pretty interesting.
But dude, check this out. There you go. Hitler, death.
Yeah.
Look, the bizarre science of telepathy, guys of pillars on Earth, bizarre end times. Here be dragons. This is the one, Joe Rogan, 4 months ago. Okay. And then look, right before it, species of angels you've never heard of. I'm like, man, this guy.
You went through a whole bunch of those things.
I'm like, this dude and I are on the same page.
Yeah.
This is cool. Giants never left. Look.
That's funny.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this dude and I are on the same page. And look at this clean cut.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
I mean, he's got to be 30 tops. I mean, he's a young guy.
Yeah, he looks pretty young. Yeah.
But I was just like, dude, this is a cool cool connection, cool connection that I made. So I'm happy. So what else? What are you looking at?
I was trying to send this to somebody.
What are you sending? Oh, this show?
Never mind. I got it now.
All
right. My wife wanted to spy on me and see if I was vaping while I'm talking to you.
Oh, dear God. Tell the wife it's boys' night out. You're safe here at home. She should be grateful you're not out whoring around drinking.
Yeah, well,
You'd be getting lap dances right now, man.
Right, exactly. I mean, I saw the grass today.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Something. Jeez.
No
respect. No
she's
respect.
probably gonna have her hands full downtown anyway, with drunk naked people running through the garage.
Yeah, her crazy job.
Or so, yeah.
Crazy job. I think I'm gonna see if I can play this guy's video while you're. Bucket.
Yeah, I got
all good. Okay. You want to see the Joe Rogan one or the Angels one?
Take your pick, man.
I'll start with the Joe Rogan so that you kind of get a.
Joe Rogan was about 12 minutes. The other one's an hour.
Yeah. Oh, the other one's complex, though. I'll skip through it.
And something keeps popping up. Dragons. Why is that? Why does nearly every culture on Earth have stories about dragons? It's strange. And these stories aren't isolated. They are everywhere, forming a sort of shared myth across the world. When we talk about dragons today, we think about them as pure fantasy. But ancient explorers and historians didn't. To them, these dragons were real. They wrote about them. They named them. They battled them. Were they just making these things up, or is there more to the story?
I'm not interested in dragons. I'm interested in reality.
Say, well, there's no such thing as a dragon. Like, okay, is there such a thing as a predator?
Of course.
We went from Walter Cronkite to this guy, Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons.
There's a group of people that say that dragons were real.
The fact that we know that pterodactyls did exist, that's cool, right? It would be way cooler if they existed with people.
The dragon fight story is explore the dangerous unknown, discover the treasure that revitalizes the community.
Do you think that holds any weight?
Let me read you something. There is a place in Arabia to which I went on hearing of some winged serpents. And when I arrived there, I saw bones and spines of serpents in such quantities it would be impossible to describe. The form of the serpent is like that of a water snake, but it has wings without feathers and is like as possible to the wings of a bat. That is a quote from Herodotus, often called the world's first historian. And yes, he is talking about dragons.
Are you getting it? How smart this dude is?
Yeah.
Who is this Herodotus? I think I've heard the name. The book, you see, he had an actual book. He's not online. That's why I researched. Oh, I Googled shit. No, he has the goddamn book. I'm just like, this dude is amazing, dude.
That was recorded in around 450 BC. Before you dismiss it, he is the source for much of our knowledge about prehistory and antiquity. He is the first person to report on Troy, which turned out to be true. And I want to continue this quote because Herodotus says something that's revealing. Herodotus adds, "The Arabians say that the trees which bear the frankincense are guarded by small winged serpents. They are numerous and dangerous to approach. To gather the frankincense, they burn storax to produce smoke that drives the serpents away." This part of the quote is really important because it shows that these winged serpents weren't just added for dramatic flair to make the story more interesting. Herodotus is including practical details about how these Arabians dealt with these creatures. But what's strange is this isn't the only quote like this from history. I want to move forward about both Alexander the Great and his generals saw dragons while invading India. Wow. There were even stories that these generals, who would later go on to rule Egypt, would capture these dragons and bring them back to their palace as a display of power. Stories like this come up again and again and again throughout antiquity. In 1552, there was a Swiss naturalist by the name of Conrad Gessner, who's considered to be the father of modern zoology, and he said this about dragons. "The dragon is the largest serpent. Its strength lies not in its teeth, but in its tail. It kills with a blow rather than with poison. The dragon lives in caves and shows itself at dusk and at night."
Is that cool, man?
Account sounds suspiciously similar to both Alexander the Great and Marco Polo's reports. And Gessner's report was not even conjecture. It wasn't theory. He claimed that he had captured a young dragon at some point for his collection. He also included illustrations in his book, which almost exactly match the description of these dragons in Herodotus's book. And reports like this aren't confined to a singular region. Dragons appear in the histories of the Middle East, Asia, Europe, Africa, the Americas. And with this consistency, it raises a question: were all of these people wrong, or are we missing something? All of these reports share a few things in common. Reptiles that kill at night, they hide in caves, and sometimes, strangely, they fly. But I want to talk about the most diverse and most common group of reptiles on planet Earth: birds. If you've ever wondered why birds lay eggs instead of giving traditional mammal birth, it's because they're not mammals. They're actually reptiles. And this is why you see dinosaur depictions now with these dinosaurs that have feathers, because they are related to birds. Surprisingly, birds also share a common ancestor with crocodiles, which also have an extremely ancient lineage. So much so that many zoologists actually refer to crocodiles as living fossils because they have remained largely unchanged since the time of the dinosaurs. Their lineage dates back 200 million years.
That's crazy.
Take a look at this crocodile that was captured in the Philippines. It was actually captured near where Marco Polo reported seeing dragons himself. And this crocodile measured in at 20 feet long. But that's not uncommon. In the 1950s, there was a report of a crocodile in Papua New Guinea that measured in at 33 feet. Jeez. And there are extinct forms of super crocs that measure in at 40 feet long. In my opinion, this is very dragon-like.
Let me tell you why we have Spectrum. I'm on a video chat. Melissa's live streaming with her audience. The kids.
But the question remains that if dragons are real and they existed, where's the evidence? Where are the fossils? But here's the thing. Fossils are super rare. Scientists estimate that there were probably around 4 billion species that have ever walked planet Earth. But we only have fossils for about 300,000 species. We have fossil proof for 1% of the species that have ever lived, and 99% of all species disappeared without a trace. So with this knowledge, I want to explore what people might have meant when they use the word dragon. The first thing that you probably need to know is that before 1877, the word dinosaur didn't exist. People used the word dragon to describe all large reptiles. So
is that a psyop?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I've known that they use that name.
That's the first thing I think of. As soon as they start changing names and terminology, that's a fucking red flag, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We see that now, how they want to change history and everything, right? And if they were called dragons and all of a sudden they changed it to dinosaurs,
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Say dragons may have been real. I'm not suggesting that there is a unique type of reptile called dragon that's disappeared. Dragons and dinosaurs and large reptiles were the same thing. And with this understanding, I want to look at the possibility that some of these animals that were around during this time, during the time of the dinosaurs, maybe some of these large reptiles lived long enough to overlap with us here on Earth. This is a coelacanth. They were a type of fish that actually died off during the great dinosaur extinction. But strangely, they were rediscovered. But before I wrap up, I want to read you a few more accounts of another mythical creature that comes up a lot in these ancient accounts. Herodotus writes this: there is a tribe of people who are entirely covered in hair and live in the densest part of the forests. Here's another account from Andrew Bartel, a 17th century English explorer, who said, they are very monstrous, and they are so strong that 10 men cannot hold one of them. And they are bold and will come to the fire and snatch meat off of it. But here's the twist. Those quotes aren't about Sasquatch. They are quotes about gorillas, which were dismissed as myths until they were officially discovered and classified in 1847. So, do I believe these accounts? Yes, I do. I believe that ancient explorers were honest about their encounters with large reptiles while traveling. The world is full of mysteries, and sometimes the things that we dismiss as myths turn out to be pretty close to the truth. And that's why I think Joe Rogan might actually be onto something here. Do I believe that dragons walk the earth? Yes, I do. Because in many ways, we're still walking the earth with them today. Joe Rogan wins again.
That's awesome. Dude, if this video's cool, man.
That's so funny, man. Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Well,
you got
the other video. Yeah.
Subscribe to his channel.
I just
did you? Perfect. Whoever the hell watching this, subscribe to this. Taylor's a really cool dude. But again, you know, it's that whole never judge a book by its cover. I thought he was going to be very religious and, you know what I mean, and by the book. And no, he seems that way, but he's not. He's like our level. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that's cool. So yeah, I told him, I said, man, I'd love to talk to you again sometime. And I told him, I said, I don't know what a guy like me can do for you, but if you need anything of fucking drawing or something, let me know.
Yeah.
So what else is up, man? How's Ohio?
Well, I'm getting a new windshield put in my car Tuesday.
Oh God, what happened? Hailstorm?
I got hit with a bunch of rocks off some hauler truck the other night coming home from work.
No.
Yeah.
Like you were behind one and it fell off?
On the right side to get off the ramp to go down to connect with my other highway, and started raining off of that thing. It was dark out, and I actually could see one of them. That's how big they were.
Jesus.
So, yeah, he got me 2 or 3 times. I'm getting a windshield put in Tuesday, but...
Wow, that sucks.
Other than that, you know, yeah.
How's that refrigerator holding up?
Excellent, man. Knife out of the way every time to get past it because it takes up the whole...
Worth every dollar.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, if anything ever happens to me, they can put me in there, you know, until they...
That's true.
Everything's holding up pretty good here at this end. My supervisor I had with the pink bunny outfit.
Oh yeah,
I don't have him anymore.
that's good. That's a good thing. Did he get run over by a forklift?
Yeah, he's free to move on to another job.
Good.
Good luck to him. Yeah, they took care of that last week or week before last, actually.
Yeah.
So, we haven't talked in probably a month or more. Yeah.
We're about like a once every 6 weeks kind of guys. It's like we do our good 2, 3, 4, 5 hour talk.
Yeah,
and then usually about a month goes by, and then we'll chime in again. So that's why I figured like this. It's like instead of talking on the phone for 5 hours, we can like do this for a while. You know what I mean? So,
well, today I'm sitting here after I'd had breakfast or something, and I came in here and pulled up that story. Just happened to run across that. And I'm like, well, that's ironic. I would run across this today and
the Blaze one.
Yeah.
Good timing.
Something else I wanted to bring up about that story in there that guy talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you watch it, you'll see that he was talking about the stuff they used to do on another show he did, and it got to be where it was too dangerous, basically, I guess, in his mind.
Okay.
Doing this now, and it's I can't remember the name of the show he's got now, but it's not what you think when you read the title. But yeah, he was talking about how when angels show up, they always just show up as angels.
Okay.
And they either give you a message or kill everybody or whatever they do.
Right.
Demons, on the other hand, hi, I'm your grandma, Timmy, and here's some.
Yeah.
They always show up as something else that you think,
right.
Oh, hey, it's grandma. It's not.
It's the deception. They're trying to deceive you.
They
throw you off guard. Yeah.
Something friendly,
Yes.
As angels show up as, hey, I'm an angel, and do this, or you're going to be in big trouble.
Well, that's the famous line that I have Danny speak in the trailers. Is one of I forget. I really gotta study these Bible stories more. But one angel that speaks to one important person in the Bible, I forget who. The first thing it says is, "Do not be afraid."
Yeah, because they look real scary, Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna have to dip through that hour-long video that Tyler did about the angels, because he brings that up. He brings that up and says about, people wonder why an angel would tell whoever, do not be afraid. And he said, well, this is why. And he starts showing you, what they actually look like. Yeah. And what a lot of people don't realize that I discovered 12 years ago researching this is the different types of angels. There's like
a bunch of them. Yeah.
9+ different types, and they all have their own titles, and they're all stuff. And it was really cool. Taylor and I were talking about that, because the highest tier, the hierarchy, the most powerful angels are the ones that guard the actual throne of God.
Yeah.
Those are the most pure. And he was basically saying how the angels on the bottom tier are not as pure as those, where the closer you get to God and the throne of God, it's like a detox almost.
Yeah.
Your sins and dirtiness is burned away more and more and more the closer you get. So by the time you get to him, you're like completely pure. And he said that's what those powerful, crazy looking angels are. They are the most pure.
That's funny. You should bring that up. And I know you haven't gotten through that Joe McMoneagle interview yet.
Mm-hmm.
But part of that in there, when he was doing his remote viewing stuff,
right,
was whenever he was in here doing this stuff, and he said there was like this presence there, this dark presence with him.
Mm.
That he made him uncomfortable. He couldn't figure it out. So he asked the guy who's kind of mentoring him on this stuff, and he's like,
"Yeah,
you'll figure it out."
Mm.
He did. At some point, I guess he looked around, and it was him.
Ooh,
it was his body kind of thing,
Wow.
Own body that's this dark presence in there kind of thing.
Wow.
It's kind of dirty or whatever,
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay, I get it now. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I hear that about like death. You know, people, you hear about this, you've heard about the people, what do they call it? Those death experiences, what are those called?
Near-death experiences, NDEs.
NDEs, right?
Not Joe Rogan. Sean Ryan. Like I said, I've been going through all his shows.
Right.
A whole bunch of really good ones.
Yeah.
That was one of them. And I was really pleased to find out there was one woman, I guess, that her parents gave her up, and she was an orphan kind of thing, and led a bad life, whatever.
Right.
She would get married and had kids, and she got sick or something, and had a near-death experience in the hospital, kind of thing. And she's, I'm not worthy of this. Send me back, whatever. I don't deserve this, and whoever, Jesus is telling her, no, there's people here that want you here. Look around.
Yeah.
There's her dogs over there. They're happy to see her. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
I get to see my dogs.
That's cool. Well, and now again, that's another debate among people, because they say animals don't have souls.
Yeah.
And some people are like, what's that?
That doesn't mean they're not there.
Right. Because your heaven means that they would be there, right?
I thought that was funny, and then they sent her back, and
yeah. But that I've heard that more than once with these NDEs is these people that go to the other side. Yeah. They don't want to come back. They say once you're over there, it is so beautiful in every aspect. They said every sense and then some. It's like ecstasy. And they said when you look back at your body laying there on the fucking bed, they said it's dirty, it's decrepit, it's flawed, it's all this, it's ugly, right? You on the other side, you're this beautiful being, and everything is beautiful, and they don't want to go back to that fucking shell of a body. And then when they come back, you know what I mean? So that's something, I guess, if you could convince yourself to look forward to. And you know what? Another, it reminds me of is Return of the King. Remember when Gandalf talks to is it Pippin about dying?
My wife was watching Jaws last night, so you said Pippin, and I'm like, oh, you mean Pippin?
The dog. Is it a married, whichever hobbit it was, when remember they think they're going to fucking die. Yeah. And Gandalf like, oh, this isn't the end. And he talks about the curtain that parts and the silver glass. That's what it reminds me of. It's that whole, this isn't the end. In fact, this shit sucks. Yeah. When you cross over, it's a hell of a lot better in every way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, Tolkien was very based religious wise. Right. And Taylor mentioned that because he was asking about, he's like, well, so tell me about this project you're doing. And I didn't go into detail, but he said, keep me informed. And he's like, when the book is out, let me know. And I wasn't going to explain to him the whole fucking nightmare of different books and crowdfunding and I was like, yeah, I will, man. I'll let you know. You know what I mean?
Send him the link and,
Yeah.
I'm like, he seems like a smart guy. He'll figure it out.
Oh yeah. But, no, I don't want to bother him with that shit yet. I'll deal with that later. But, it was just cool because he mentioned about Tolkien. He said, it sounds like what you're doing is like how Tolkien did it. He's like, where you're learning, you're going beyond the story, you're learning about the world and the cultures and the religious and all this other stuff. And he said, that's cool. Do it because that's how, and I said, Tolkien is ground zero for fantasy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyone who writes, draws, plays D&D, whatever the fuck it is. Yeah. If you don't know Tolkien, man, you're a fucking fake. I mean, I hate to say it, but
books came out. Well, I'm guessing TV. So.
Well, the Hobbit came out in the 30s, like 1935.
It was before any kind of television or maybe movies, because I know he was in World War I. That's where he got some of the
idea for the Hobbit. Yeah. So that's I call him the godfather of fantasy. He's ground zero. This is where it fucking started. Even Robert E. Howard with Conan, that was like in the 50s. You know,
How was it? Yeah.
50s. That wasn't Tolkien was the 30s.
Yeah.
Now, what did Tolkien get inspiration from? From like Beowulf and all that much older stuff.
Right.
But Tolkien, I think everyone can kind of agree across the board, is like the ground zero for fantasy, you know?
Hands
and then it just goes from there. And he is the master. The dude speaks like 10 fucking languages. Christ, he created 3 or 4 of his own. You know, I mean, no one can. I don't think there will ever be another Tolkien. I don't think there's anyone who can do that. So
help him with those books, man, because wow, you know.
And the fact that he did it all himself, he didn't have people helping. He did a secretary and a this and a this, all himself, man. And that's probably why they're so fucking cool, because he didn't have all that extra bullshit, all the, distractions and well, you know, that's cool, but have you thought of this kind of crap? No, I actually have, and that's fucking gay. It's like, this is this, you know what I mean?
Came out of here, you know, right out.
Yeah. So it's cool. But no, it was, like I said, it was really, it was a good meeting today. So yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
But,
sounds like it. Well, like I said, I subscribe to his channels, YouTube.
Yeah.
I'll check him out
Good.
on Twitter, you know, X.
So I'm going to try. Yeah, I'll try to spread the word on him, because I told him, I said, dude, I know you're climbing up. It's like his videos, like that tweet. In fact, let me give you a second. No one's watching, so we can dick around.
Right.
We lost our 3 watchers.
We actually had 3 at one point.
3 at one point. It was this Sammy Sadek or Sam, this guy.
Yeah.
Sammy was in. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen him in chat before. And then Wookie came in, and there was a third. I don't know who the third was.
Might have been Kathy sneaking up on us.
Could have been. I mean, he's not my brother. His dumb ass, he's asleep. It's like 9 o'clock. I told Bishi, but he's probably fucking drunk, so he fucking can't even work a computer. I can't even here to find this. Yeah, this is a follow. What's that shit? Oh, wait, I bookmarked. Hold on.
Hey, by the way,
there it is. Yeah,
my mom is in Ireland right now.
What's that?
My mom's in Ireland right now.
Really? Good for her.
Was
did she bring Tyler?
Do what?
Did she take Tyler with her?
No. I don't think so.
You know something? Maybe we should get you out of the country for a while.
I think she's been in England or something, because she sent me a text today saying she goes to Ireland tomorrow, and I was like, I thought she was there, but she had a picture of her with a sheepdog puppy. I was like,
cool.
I was home for Kathy. She'd kill me.
That's funny.
Yeah, so she sent a picture back from a 14th century church that I'm looking at it like, you know, they just couldn't even do this today, probably.
Yeah.
You know, although, well, they did just rebuild Notre Dame, I guess. But, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, she's been over there for at least a few days now, so.
That's really cool. Good for her.
Yeah.
Cool that she is still able to travel, get around.
She still gets around, man.
Dude, how old is she?
She's bumping up on 80, man.
I mean, that's good for her, man. Good for her.
Yeah, you know. I'll send you this picture of the church that she was in, because it's pretty amazing.
All those churches are amazing, dude.
Incredible, man.
And I built by man, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I would love to.
All by hand, you know, there's no
no.
Man, I mean, metal limited kind of thing, you know, there wasn't a lot of stuff.
Wow, look, dude, it doesn't even look real. That's insane.
It doesn't. Yeah.
That is insane, dude. Mm-hmm. And this is like a small church compared to some, you know?
1400s. Yeah.
That's
what she said was 1400s.
The detail in the arches. Look at those pillars, dude.
That's the Glasgow church built in the 1400s. Yeah.
See, and you know, I see this a lot on Twitter, where people are showing the modern architecture, the ugly ass shit that we got now, you know, and they compare it to this stuff. And this stuff is hundreds of years old and still standing.
Yeah.
Not chipped. There's nothing. It's still there, rock solid.
There is
our shit doesn't last 50 fucking years, and they're bulldozing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it does. You start to say, we need to go back. We need to go back because this is stupid. The way we're fucking living now is fucking stupid. It's a waste. We are not supposed to be this way.
There's that factor of built-in obsolescence. So, if it'll fall apart in 20, 30 years, we'll get to build another one and get paid again.
Yeah.
If you buy an older house, it's probably going to hold up better than some of the new ones.
Exactly right. Right. But it's like that whole, yeah, they said that, you know, and you know as well, anyone does, that we are getting further and further away from God and religion and stuff.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not a Bible banger, man. I'm not pumping Christianity and believing, you know what I mean? It's just like, believe in what the hell you want. If you want to fucking hug a tree. I don't care. You know what I mean? But you got to believe in something. I don't care if it's spiritual or religious or metaphysical or fucking arcane or whatever the fuck it is, but believe in something.
Yeah.
Because this shit sucks. The way our society civilization is going is a fucking disaster.
Yep.
And you can see it in the architecture and in entertainment and everything.
I can see it in my car every day. These people
exactly
are on mission, man.
And if you think about it,
it's just, man.
Like those churches, like I'm trying to think, like some of the last churches that were built like that was what, 1500, 16, 17, you know, you're only talking 200, 300, 400, 500 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look how things were.
Right.
That's what we got to get back to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like, you've known me, we've known each other for over half our lives now. The older we get, the longer we know each other, you know?
Right.
And, you know, I've always said, dude, all this shit, fucking computers, the phones, the bullshit, I would drop in a second.
Yeah.
If there's a portal to the fucking medieval shit or the fantasy world where it's the stone and fire and wood, where that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even have to think. I would just immediately, boom, I'm there.
I don't know, man.
Really,
I'm pretty happy with hot showers and coffee.
Well, but see, that's what I mean. There's that. There's always that. And they're like, you know, disease and medicine.
I wouldn't think, man, I want a hot shower in the morning.
But it's like the thing that, I guess the thing that's frustrating to me is it's like, why can't we have both? We are at the point now, we are advanced enough and smart enough.
Yep.
Where literally, the fantasy world that I am creating could be real because you're taking the good stuff, the basics from the medieval days, the stone structures, the architecture, the wood, the raw materials, natural materials, gardens, garden vegetables, bread from the wheat in the fields, all that like medieval kind of living, horses instead of vehicles, right? And keep the medicines we have and the medical knowledge and all that knowledge. Just start like having regions of, if you're sick of driving and you want a horse or a horse and wagon or horse and cart, this is the place for you.
Yeah.
You're not going to die of leprosy or.
I'm sure you could do that out west in a few places, ride your horse down instead of a car. Yeah.
It's like, all the, like, you're not going to die of an infection from a cut. You know, we don't walk in shit. It's like, you keep all that knowledge that we have, right? And like, yes, you bathe once a day or shower and shave and no hairy armpits and smelly bitches. You know what I mean? It's like the what's that word? The hygiene, the hygiene knowledge, the medical knowledge, all of that, we have it.
Yeah.
Let's just apply that to that medieval style of living. And I know it was dirty as fuck in the Dark Ages and stuff. Mud floors and it rained on this ground. Okay, but so let's have our architectural knowledge.
Yeah.
Where we put in the foundation stone and the baseboards and have everything tight and all the corners meet and the boards are tight so that there aren't rats running around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could literally do that, man.
There's a bear with me here. So when Hitler left Germany and went to South Africa,
right. As everyone knows. Well, we that think outside the box know. Day shifters don't.
The president of Argentina is talking about releasing all the information about it, but yes, he was out there on a lake called Nahuel Huapi for about 10 years until about 1955 in a house down there. It's called the Analco House.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that house, man. And before there was a volcano that erupted and covered everything in ash.
Wow.
And as you probably know, that stuff's highly acidic. It killed the grass and damaged the house and everything.
Yeah.
Nobody was living in the house since then. There was a caretaker guy there for a while. There's no telling how much stuff he burned in there to keep warm during wintertime.
Yeah.
But somebody finally bought the place, apparently. So they're kind of fixing it back up, which is a good thing, I think.
That's cool. That is cool, yeah.
Historical, but that house, when you look at it, okay, we're talking 1944 when they built it, right? By Mercedes. It was supposed to be for Mercedes executives to go down there with their girlfriends, kind of thing.
Oh, right, like a resort house,
kind of a sort of a resort,
like a Playboy mansion.
When the married Mercedes executives went somewhere with their girlfriend, that's where
with the mistresses. Gotcha.
Right. So there's a big bay window with the lake and a huge mountain, the Andes Mountains out there. The view is incredible. The whole place was built, we're talking mid 1940s. 44 is right there toward the end of the war, so I would say 44. Everything had to be brought in on a boat. There were no roads to this place. It's in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
So you had to bring it all in by boat to get to it. There is a road near it now, but they had a stream that came down. They directed it or something, whatever, for their electricity to use hydroelectric. They also routed some of that water to go under the house to keep it cool in the summertime.
That's cool.
They're using water from the mountains to cool the house in the summer.
Yeah.
They're using the water to generate electricity for the house.
That's cool.
I mean, we're talking 1,200 acres, I think. It's like almost 100 acres. So they had like 2 or 3 guest houses. They had, I know there was some kind of horse racing starting gate set up for like 3 horses. So they were doing stuff there. They had, they were breeding guard dogs. Like they had St. Bernards and Great Danes there.
That's cool.
Breeding them. They were probably breeding horses. They had their own farm stuff, all their own food. And, he's not there by himself. He's got to taking care of him. So these people lived there and they farmed everything. They got everything from there. That's cool. There's not a lot of stuff coming into them because, like I said, you had to either come in on a boat or a boat plane.
Right.
To get supplies in there. So most of the stuff, it was all self-sustained in the middle of nowhere in Patagonia,
Yeah.
In late 1940s through 55.
Right.
I mean, so you can do that kind of stuff. And the build was beautiful on it. All this wood, it's all, local wood that they cut down in the forests. It's all trees and mountains out there,
Yeah.
It looked like you were in the Alps in Europe.
That's cool.
Really what it looked like. The water in the lake is clear, really nice. But yeah, you can do that kind of stuff. So they lived for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And
it's just a shame that we can't. Yeah.
So you can do that kind of stuff. Like I said, they cooled the house with the water from the mountain. I thought
that's so cool.
Found that out.
Well, and I think they talk like about that like in Rome. You know, it's funny. A few days ago on Twitter, I saw someone had a clip of Gladiator. You know, the first one.
Yeah.
They said that the opening battle in Germania, they said it's probably one of the coolest fucking opening battles in any movie.
Pretty wild.
I was like, God damn, that's good. And I haven't watched Gladiator in years. You know what I mean?
I actually caught that. I was on TV, I don't know, a month or two ago. I saw.
Was it?
Yeah, probably.
Well, I've got the director's cut, gold-plated, extended, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, you know what? I haven't watched this in fucking 10 years probably. So I popped that in.
And that movie's like 20 years old now.
I know.
See that?
Dude, it sucks. I'm like, God damn it, time is flying.
feel
You're
old.
getting old. Russell Crowe is like young and built. We see what he looks like now. He's like fucking fat and ancient looking. I'm like, Jesus Christ, has it been that fucking long?
Movies, but yeah, he's not going to make action movies, I don't think.
No, but it's like, I guess it has been that long, right? Because I was in Vegas when it was out.
4 is when it came out. So
20 years ago. But man, whenever I put a movie in, I'm always working. I'm at the desk drawing and writing whatever the fuck I'm doing. But damn it, that first battle I was watching, and I ended up watching that whole movie. No work, no draw, right bullshit. I was like into that movie, and I'm like, God damn, this is a work of art. It's a fucking masterpiece, dude. I mean, everything. And again, Johann Phoenix or whatever his name is.
You know they had to do some CGI in there because one guy died.
Did he? Ooh.
Yeah, during filming they had to use some CGI.
Like a stuntman?
The
trainer.
Yeah.
He did die. Yeah. I remember that.
And
which sucks because his character was
CGI, so they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, his character was cool as shit. What was his name?
Yeah, I liked him.
God, what was his name? Damn it, I forget his name. But I loved him. Totally my kind of character. Kind of fucking guy I'd put in D&D, man. You know what I mean?
Too. There was Commodus and Mucus and Penis and
yeah, the names are crazy. But no, like even
Biggest Diggus.
Yeah. Caesar, just I know he was slimy and horrible, but God, he just great.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was good.
When he's like signing that things and he's like, I'm truly vexed. He's talking about being vexed and stuff. Yeah. I'm like, just fucking beautiful. That is just perfect, man. Total sicko. And again, I guess I knew he was bad.
Yeah.
But it'd been so many years. I mean, he's incestual.
Yeah.
He kills his dad. He's just really a sick, bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
Big time. And I'm like, there's not a whole lot of good in him. It's like you want to find some good. Well, there's got to be some good qualities, but it just
about him.
Not really, man. It just keeps going. The more you learn, it gets worse and worse.
You look back through history, especially with a lot of the Roman leaders and stuff. A lot of times, it was their own guards that killed them.
Yeah.
We're just gonna, take care of him
because they've been a witness to everything.
Like he's insane, and he's the whole town's burning down because of him, and he's sitting here watching that grow. And looking into that, there's more than a couple of them. I think that somebody killed them, and it was somebody on the inside. They're either family members or their own guards that murdered them.
I always wonder that. Like I said, I'm not into Game of Thrones at all because of that fucking midget. Dude, I just can't. I can't accept it. There's no way a little midget would be a king.
What?
I'm sorry.
It's so powerful.
And I said that. I'm like, how hard would it be for one of his guards when that midget was drunk to literally sire, at the battlements, look, an approaching army, and the drunk little fucking midget runs up. Where? And the dude just like whoop, right over the wall. Problem solved. You know.
Who's next?
Well, let's pick a new king. I mean, it's that fucking easy, right?
Yeah. That stuff that happened
like, what
people back then, you know. Yeah.
I mean, it's like the writer should have had that happen. He should have just had some fucking nobody extra actor who was a guard do some shit like that. Just to fuck with the audience, because they would have said, no fucking way. That's never happened before, you know?
It'd been good enough, I think, if they just did that and put it in the outtake reel. Yeah, here's what we wanted to do. But,
yeah. But like I refuse to believe that no fucking midget could be a king in that kind of, like, now they could, because
yeah, but not in other ones.
It's not physical. Everything now is fucking guns and shit, you know? Yeah, you can have a midget be a king because they don't fight that way. They don't fight hand-to-hand combat, and strength and muscle doesn't mean shit. It's all how much firepower you have, how much art, you know? But back then,
or what you've got,
they still fought on horseback, and strength mattered, and aim, you know what I mean? So, yeah, kings and armies killed each other by hand, not with fucking F-16s.
I mean...
So how the fuck could a midget stay on the throne? There's no way.
I think that was the whole thing about King Arthur kind of thing. He was a big guy. He was like 6 feet tall.
Right.
Then was huge.
Right.
George Washington was a huge guy back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Napoleon was short, but we're talking.
But you deal with,
he's leading armies, and it was all his strategy stuff that won.
At that point, strength doesn't matter because you're dealing with firearms. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't have to be a strong guy to fucking shoot a gun. You know what I mean? But you've got to be a strong guy to wear that fucking armor and have a two-handed sword and every other fucking thing. You know, you can't have a 5 foot, 90-pound guy. No fucking way. You know what I mean? So that's the whole thing about Game of Thrones that immediately turned me off. As soon as I saw a midget as some king badass, I'm like, dude, wouldn't happen.
Hollywood's kind of, well, they've just gone too far with this.
Yeah.
Nothing against women, but when you're 5'2" and 100 pounds,
girl power.
That's what I always say to
girl power.
You just took down that 300-pound guy that was 6'8".
Everyone's sick of it. People are getting sick of it. Hollywood's losing. It's just a matter of time. It's like, be patient. Within, I'd say, 5 years or so, I mean, this shit will be back.
But after a while, another one, you know.
Well, see, and the thing is, you know me, dude. I love chicks. I love female characters. You know what I mean?
Me too.
I like Ripley, Sarah Connor, Princess Leia. Dude, I fucking loved them. They were badasses. You know what I mean? 20, 30, 40 years ago, there were strong female. It's just it wasn't everybody. They weren't everywhere. It's like these movies now. It's like every chick in the movie's flipping in a badass. It's just it's fucking bullshit. But what makes it worse is that on social media, they like propagandize this to these young girls, and then all these girls now have these fucking attitudes, thinking they're these badasses, and then they fuck with some 6'5" guy in a bar who's holding a beer, and the little bitch, and he just kind of goes, and and then takes a sip of his beer. He didn't even spill, you know?
Or they get shot.
Yeah. It ain't real, man. And it's just, it's proven. It's like the average woman is not as strong as the average man. Of course, there's exceptions. There's female bodybuilders and this and this. Of course, there's.
That whole, I didn't watch in the Olympics, but I saw enough of that clips of the women's boxing. That was just disgusting.
Where the guy was fighting them? Yeah. That was sick. Yeah, that's...
You know, sorry.
And the thing is, where the fuck are the women? I know Riley Gaines is a big advocate.
I'm giving some of them credit because some of them have finally figured out, you know what? Let them stand on the podium by themselves.
Yeah.
Now, you know, good. Keep doing that until they put a stop to it, you know.
But women across the planet, across the planet should have immediately, when that shit started happening years ago, all the women should have banded together and said, enough's enough. We are all
They're starting
on strike. All, I mean, basketball, fucking volleyball, all female sports should just have immediately stopped.
Yeah.
And fuck you guys. And within months, it would be back to normal. There would be men in fucking women's sports. You know what I mean?
Can't believe
but these women didn't. They didn't band together like that. And other women would say, "What's wrong with the women? They're letting this happen. Where's the resistance? Where's the women's equality and women's?" And I'm like, I don't see it either. What the fuck? So what do you do? You know? Yeah, that's sick, dude. That's sick.
You know, I don't know if I told you. I think I told you about my niece won state wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, I talked to my wife about this when I wrestled in high school and college. There wasn't a woman on the planet in my age and weight class that it was
take you.
It's me,
right?
And I'm good, but not great. You know?
Right.
No comparison. Just no way. You know.
Yeah.
I the only way I lose that match is if I'm like, I don't want to hurt her. You know.
Yeah.
But I was really proud of her winning state. It's really awesome, and she's got another year to go. She's only a junior.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, she's got another season, so I hope she gets that in. She's pretty good. Her dad's it's Alex, you know,
right?
All this stuff. He's kind of her coach, basically.
Yeah.
So that's really cool, man. Yeah,
it's the king tradition. You're all like wrestlers,
right? So,
you're gladiators.
I was appalled at I went to see my nephews wrestle a few years ago. They were still in high school. And I couldn't believe how different it was. I mean, there was like nobody there.
Oh, that sucks.
It was just shrunk down, and looking through like the scheduling and stuff, and I'm like, the JV only had maybe 6 matches, I think, all season.
Wow.
You only wrestle 6 matches against somebody not on your team. That's where you learn stuff, is wrestling other people, not the same guy in your own team every day.
Exactly.
You know, you need to wrestle other people to learn other stuff.
Yeah.
I just, I couldn't believe. I mean, I know we had some matches where it was like low turnout. We had we wrestled our big rivalry in town on a Friday night, and that whole place was packed. We had a decent sized gymnasium. The whole place, it was standing room only. That's we're using the one mat. We each got a set of chairs. That was it. The rest of the thing was all bleachers and full of people.
Yeah.
And so that was Fairfield on a Friday night. Next day at noon or 1 o'clock, I think we wrestled Lebanon, which was up north of us a little bit.
Yeah.
There was almost nobody there.
Really?
Saturday morning, early afternoon match,
Yeah.
We just had this huge match the night before. Nobody cared about seeing Lebanon. So,
That's funny.
I remember, I don't know if you remember Steinberg's, the store Steinberg's used to be around Cincinnati area. Maybe they didn't have any up in Dayton.
I don't think so.
An electronics store, whatever. They used to run these commercials all the time at the holidays. And I always remember the one with the lifeguard out at the beach, and nobody's there. And it's the big Memorial Day sale at Steinberg.
Right.
The commercial, he's out there cooking hot dogs in the dark going, yep, Steinberg's ought to be closing any minute now.
It's funny.
We're out there warming up, and I looked around and I said that. And the only guy that laughed was our 98-pounder. He busted out laughing, and nobody else got it. I'm like, seriously? Have you ever seen that? Me, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steinberg's ought to be closing any minute now.
That's funny.
But yeah, the night before, that place was totally packed. Yeah. I remember. I can't remember who I wrestled that year. against Fairfield. I know the year before I wrestled some guy that I kind of felt bad for him. Before the match, I remember one of the guys, man, the guy's over there staring at you, and I don't know, whatever,
Yeah.
Looked like he was wrestling up about 2 weight classes. And I took it to him out there and pinned him or tech fought him pretty fast. I don't remember.
That's cool.
And it took me a couple of weeks to figure out that it was some kid that I went to school with back in Williamsburg.
Wow.
When I was in grade school out there, I'm like, I got out my old yearbook. I'm like, I know that kid.
That's funny.
Kid from out there. Like I said, I kind of felt bad for him because I knew he was going up at least 1 or 2 weight classes to wrestle.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, it didn't end well for him. Hey.
That's cool.
Yeah. It was wrestling was fun, man. You get to go out there and beat the crap out of somebody, and hopefully it doesn't happen to you, but hopefully you on them, but take out all your aggressions on them.
Exactly. Well, so do you think is wrestling, is the popularity dying out? You think?
I don't know. They've changed a lot of the rules. It's just the high school stuff. That's the first time I've been to a high school match in so long, and I'm looking at them like they didn't even have it at their high school. It was over at one of the junior high or grade school gyms. I was
weird.
Like, why is this not? But when I looked around, it's a lot different than it used to be.
Everything's different.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things, some of the stuff isn't too bad. That some of the changes they've made some rule changes out on the mat that I don't really even know all of them yet. Like the NCAA tournament a couple of years ago, and I remember watching it and going, "Oh wow, that's new." I wonder if that's down to the high school stuff.
Yeah,
got riding time now and all kinds of stuff like this. They what was it that they changed? When I was watching the high school match with my nephews there, it used to be we started with the smallest weight class, 98 pounder. Well, I guess when I was a senior, I think they changed it to 103 was the lowest weight class we had. So you started with that guy every match. Started with him, and then you went up to the 105 pounder or whatever, and all the way up until you got to the heavyweight guy or unlimited. Right. Now I think they were doing something where they randomized it.
Weird.
So you didn't know who was. They just picked a different lineup somehow. So that way, the 103 pounder didn't have to go first every time or whatever. You could be in the middle of the weight class and go first.
Yeah.
I can't remember how they did that. I'd have to ask my brother. He would know better. But when I was watching Kelsey, my niece, wrestle, it was at a tournament. So girls wrestling is different now. It's it's not different, but it is. So I'm watching this tournament and there's tons of pins. Almost every match ends in a pin. Almost
as in the girls?
Yeah, almost none of them go the distance. And here's the crazy thing. A lot of times they'll be up. One girl's winning 10-2 or something and gets pinned. So
they're like unpredictable. They're kind of like unpredictable.
Totally unpredictable. And it happened to her in that match. Now, this wasn't this year. It was a year before. So she ended up going to state that year, but didn't win. But going into that tournament, I want to say she was undefeated, had a lot of pins. But she lost a match. And I remember I'm there watching with my brother, and she actually pinned the other girl twice, but the referee was out of position and missed it.
Oh, jeez.
And that's what happened. She was up like 10 or 12-2 or something stupid like that, and got a stupid move and got pinned with like 5 seconds left on the clock. I'm like, upset.
Cool.
I felt bad for her, but when you're watching the girls wrestling, man, there are tons of pins. And it was kind of fun watching it. It was different. The matches were fast,
I'm sure.
They used to be 6 minutes. I think they've changed the times on them now. It used to be 2, 2, and 2 2-minute periods, you know. And I know I never like to give the guy a break. You know, if we went out of bounds or it was in between, I'm ready to go. You know,
Yeah.
I'm back to the center, and I'm waiting.
You don't want him resting. You don't want him catching his breath.
Yeah, yeah. Because actually, where I went to school at, we trained hard. You know, when we wrestled some of these other schools, they ran out of gas, not us. You know,
Right.
Getting overtime, and we still had a little something left in the tank, and they were just dead. You know, they're getting called. I don't think I ever got called for stalling my entire time wrestling in high school and a little bit in college. Never got called for stalling. Yeah, I think now they call it a little faster too. They want you to be more aggressive.
Okay.
They've tried to kind of, you know, quicken things up, I guess.
Yeah, tighten it up a bit.
I think the times are different. Like they might go like a 2-minute period and then a couple of 3-minute periods or something. I don't remember. I have to go on and watch again and see what kind of changes they've made. They used to do changes like that for us at tournaments, like in the second round or something. The times would be a little bit different or something. But yeah, it was. It's fun though watching the girls wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as I started watching women's volleyball, I was like, I can check out women's sports, but you know, women's volleyball is fucking hot. Those are fucking booty shorts, dude.
But I've watched some women's Olympic basketball. It's faster paced, lots of shooting. I'm like, this is just, you know.
Like I said, when I was young, it's like a D&D thing. It's like I'm pro women in the military as fighters, man. Yeah. As long as you fucking train them and harden them emotionally,
well,
give them the fucking armor and weapons. Let them fight. Fuck it.
They can have their own unit. I don't want to have to rely on one of them carrying my fat.
That's actually the smartest. The Valkyries, you know, like the women have their branch and their fighters, and you're right. That would be the smartest thing to do. To mix them, no, not good. But
look, if they can pass the physical stuff, but
most
of them can't do the same stuff.
Right.
I'm not saying all of them, but most of them, you're going to carry an 80 ruck and all the other stuff, and you're still going to drag me out of the hole if I'm. Yeah.
I've always loved. I remember I was younger. I was like, you know, I'm never getting married, but if I ever got married, it'd have to be a chick who's in the military. You know what I mean? Right. I want a girl's equal. I don't want some fucking bitch who's, you know what I'm saying? I always respected women in the military. And then, of course, as I get older and get to know women, because one girl I dated in Wilmington, different than what you think. You know what I mean? It's like, that pedestal came down a bit. You know what I'm saying? But it is kind of cool because it's like, okay, this is a woman, you know, who joins the military, and I mean, it's not easy, right? Even for a woman, versus the what do you call it? The socialite chick, the girl with the nails in the fucking car and the Fifi dog and the rich. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which one do you want to? Which one? When the shit hits the fan, who do you want to be with on your side and banging at night? You know, the Fifi chick, she ain't gonna last. She'll be the first to go. She'll either suicide herself or you'll throw her to the fucking hounds and say, take her so I can get away. You know what I mean? The military chick, she'll stick around for a while. She can last for a while.
Yeah,
but the typical socialite, no, that won't last a fucking day, dude. You know what I mean?
What was the second Zombieland movie where, you know, the blonde girl, and well, she's still alive. That's because zombies eat brains, and she ain't.
Yeah, exactly. But I always had respect for women in the military. Not as much now, but now I don't even respect the military now. Yeah. That's all crumbled down to hell.
But
it's just fucking. It just ain't the same. It's all fucked up. Everything's fucked up.
You know, it's funny. Before I got my AKV, so that's baby AK-47, shoots 9 mil.
Yeah.
I was, talking with the wife about, I got my AK out and my AR out.
Mm-hmm.
And the AK was too heavy for her.
Wow.
She's like, I can't hold this thing up.
Jesus, really?
Done some modifications to it. It's probably a little heavier than it was, but
yeah.
Okay. You can handle his other one. So
wow.
The one that she's gonna get, at some point we're going out to the range and she's gonna learn how to use basically it's a pistol caliber carbine. It's not really a carbine. Technically it is a pistol, but that's the one she's gonna learn how to use.
That's cool.
If you want to clear a house and get somebody out of your house,
right? That's all you need.
That's good enough,
Yeah,
good enough for her,
yeah, that's cool. Hey, dude, let's take a quick break. Like I said, I'll probably say let's go till midnight, so like another half hour or so.
Yeah, cool.
But I need more coffee and a smoke and all that good shit. So I'm gonna put my camera for about 3 minutes. Stop my cam. You can hang or stop your cam or do whatever, but let's just do like 3 to 5 minute break and then we'll continue. Okay.
That'll work.
Cool. All right. I'm back in 5.
All right. Come on, buddy. We'll go out.
Electric refrigerator. 1, the Freon compressor. 2, the Freon tube. Oh, no, sorry. 3, the power transformer. No, sorry, 4.
Check.
Yeah. I'm here.
You got her warm? Yeah, she's coming up.
Dog's out there chowing down. I might have to let him back out.
That's fine. That's cool. Yeah, he's behaved tonight.
Yeah, he only got up one time. Usually he's pretty good in here, but I figured it was late enough. I'd go ahead and feed him. But usually when he gets fed, he wants to go back outside for a little bit, and then he comes in, lays down, goes to sleep.
That's cool. No routine phone call from the wife, huh?
Yeah, she called earlier.
Oh, earlier. Okay. Yeah. Well, it seems like she's giving a break. Doesn't she call like every hour?
Yeah, I told her I was live streaming tonight, though, and so she tried to call, and then she hung up, and said, "Send me the link." So, but I don't think she ever looked at it.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right.
I think they were like super busy, is what she was saying earlier. So.
Okay. Was like concert tonight or game or something?
What they had going on tonight? Shoot, what was it tonight? Last week they had the Flying Pig Marathon. So they have a marathon and they call it the Flying Pig.
Huh.
You probably don't know much about. Sorry, put the TV on here too. Cincinnati kind of had a nickname of Porkopolis.
I didn't know that. Weird.
Yeah, so they would bring all these pigs into town for slaughter.
Wow.
Yeah, there was something to do with flying pigs. If you go around downtown, you'll see they've got some pigs down there that they've painted up. They've got wings on them and stuff. It's, kind of thing.
I've never seen something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have every year they have the Flying Pig Marathon, which comes with a couple of shorter, a 5K, a 10K, whatever run that they do. And that was last Sunday, I believe they did the Flying Pig. And it was a local guy that won it. I think he was from Northern Kentucky, I think, that won the race. So it was good to see a local win it,
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know what they had going on this weekend, though. Might have been the Reds in town, maybe. They might have been playing. Which reminds me, I got a new bobblehead.
Oh, yeah?
She brought this home last week.
Oh, that's cool.
Skyline Chili. Yeah, Cincinnati Reds and Star Wars
Chili.
For May the 4th.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
I can say I don't own a single bobblehead. I'm proud to say.
I'm really into bobbleheads, but I've got a couple. I've got a Betty
That's cool.
Page and I've got this one. I think that's about it.
That's cool.
The only two I've got. Yeah.
There he is. There he is. He's getting a little anxious back there.
Rowdy now. But for some reason, that particular bone, he likes to fling it up in the air. So whenever here, she's doing one of these, like, because it goes flying in the air.
That's cool.
I used to give. I did that a lot with Elwood. I would give him a Nyla bone package.
Right.
He's tearing it apart trying to get it out.
That's funny.
Yeah, they Christmas time is always funny. Every one of these things I've had 4 of these. Christmas time, they get all the wrapping paper. And they don't eat it, but they just destroy it. They just
play with it.
And they're just tearing it up and spitting it out and give me more,
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So that's the thing on Christmas morning is they all get to tear up wrapping paper and probably ingest some of those sparkles and stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure it goes right through them.
Well, you can see where their poop is if it's sparkly. Then try to put a flashlight out there, and the whole backyard sparkles.
It's glittering out there. I can never get that stuff out of my car either.
Oh yeah.
It's every place, man. That time of year. So
yeah.
Fun. My wife's got a thing for wrapping paper, so yeah,
that's cool.
She's good at it too. I mean, you can tell when Kathy wraps something because it's. I always told her, like, you should get a job part-time at the mall at Christmas time.
Yeah, I know.
You're so good at that.
That's funny. Heather was the one that taught me how to wrap.
Yeah.
Because I didn't. I just fucking,
newspaper and.
Yeah. And she was like, what do you do? I remember the first time. And so she showed me about folding the corners and,
I know how to do it.
Yeah.
Wrap. I mean, it's just
I guess I know how to do it now. It's like, once I realized, okay, it's like an art form, it really is. It's presenting the present, you can make it look nice, the different types of wrapping paper. So yeah, now I did. So I basically owe that to Heather because Heather was the one who kind of taught me how to wrap. So
that's cool. Do you remember the cake that Timmons made for Deej?
No.
It's over there in Forest Lane.
Yeah.
So it was Deej's birthday.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure it was Timmons made the cake. He took a cereal box.
Yeah.
and covered in an icing. So cake, but it was just a bunch of icing on a box, and everybody was just dipping icing out and eating it. Deej was all impressed, and cut it. It's a cardboard box.
Fucking Timmons was
funny, man. God, that was a riot.
Timmons was a unique. Everyone was unique.
Yeah,
all of them.
Yeah.
Like I said, they don't make them like that anymore, man.
No.
I mean, it sucks. It's like fuck. I wish I kept in touch with more of these people. I wish I knew where the fuck they were, because it's like you can't replace them. I've tried for years. You meet people. Me. I've lived all over the fucking place, and the only other place I can say definitely was Vegas at the Hard Rock. Unique motherfuckers there, but the problem is their uniqueness is different. They're like very egotistical.
They're all from somewhere else.
Yeah, it's a melting pot, and they're all a lot of blue collar mentality, a lot of ex-cops, ex-military, but they're all unique people. The coworkers and friends I had in Vegas definitely were my kind of people. They were just fucking unique.
Did my dad come out there and see you when he came out there? I don't remember. I thought he visited you out there, but maybe not.
No, I remember getting him drunk at your wedding.
Yeah, maybe you weren't out there yet or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I was serving him drinks at your wedding.
Right. Well, he had a friend that lived out there.
Oh, cool.
To work with or something. I can't think of his name now, but he was a pool cleaner.
Oh, cool.
I mean, dude's like retirement age. He's a pool cleaner. I'm like, really? That's what he does.
Well, in Vegas, he was probably busy as shit, making lots of money.
Well, here's the thing. Dad went out with him, cleaning pools one day, right? So they get up in the morning and they go and clean somebody's pool, and they move down to the bar.
Yeah.
They had a few drinks, and then they drove to the next house and they cleaned the pool. And they went to the bar.
Yeah.
And went to the bar.
Yeah.
That's what he does every day. I'm like, geez, man.
People don't understand, because like I said, I was talking to my brother the other week about Vegas and how I lived and how often, and I'm talking weekly, I drove drunk. It's just what you do.
Well, that's what we used to do for fun when we were underage. I mean, it's,
But I'm 30 years old, and I'm like drunk. I'm not buzzed. I'm drunk where
I've been there.
Your eyes start to go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're fucked up, and I'm driving in daylight in heavy traffic, 4-lane traffic, like without a care in the fucking world. Yeah. And that was like probably once a week average. There was some weeks where it was more than that. You know what I mean?
I'm kind of surprised you moved there. I mean,
it was accidental.
It kind of goes against everything that you're for. You know what I mean?
My aunt and grandmother said that. They said he should not be in Vegas. It's not good for him. I remember them saying, Kurt should not be in Vegas. That's not a good place for him. And they were right, but it sure was fucking fun. I'll tell you that.
And I think you kind of helped maybe dissuade Alex from going there, which was a good thing too, because
really
he wouldn't have survived it.
Oh, he would have died then. He would have died.
Totally. Yeah. Something would have happened. Yeah.
Yeah. I had no desire to ever go. Like if I would have died and never set foot in Vegas, I would have been fine. That's how I felt about Vegas. Yeah. I had no desire to go.
Yeah. I've been there, but yeah.
And it was, I told you, it was by accident. Tanya and I were stuck in Sedona in Arizona, and we were broke. We couldn't afford to move. And Casey is the one who moved us for free.
Yeah.
Let us stay at his place for a month for free while we looked for jobs. Tanya got the apartment, all that bullshit. And then we moved into our apartment with our new jobs. And there we are. We're in Vegas. Man. It was either starve in fucking Arizona, you know,
Yeah.
or have a new shot in Vegas. And Casey convinced us.
In Arizona, where were you guys working at?
Because of fucking Tanya. She got Red Rock fever.
Where were you guys working though?
I was working at Dansk part-time, DANSK, a German company.
Yeah.
It's a fucking dishes, fucking high-end expensive dishware.
Okay.
What's the word for it? I forget what they call it.
China?
No, not China. It's like tableware. So I forget. There's a word for it, but
it was like dishes and not silverware stuff, right?
all that shit, silverware, plates,
kitchenware,
all that shit. But there's actual word for it. It's I forget what it's called, but it's high end. You know, it ain't cheap. It's very expensive, and it was a part-time job. And I worked there because it was like, dude, it was dead. I mean, Sedona's small.
Yeah.
It's like a small fucking town. I mean, small fucking town.
Right.
And there's nothing around. Like, if you, like, the next town is Flagstaff in the mountains, right? That's the closest town.
Yeah.
So I was part-time at Dansk. And Tanya was part-time at it's called the Cowboy Club. I think it's called, and she was a hostess. So, like, fucking not a server or bartender, a hostess.
Part-time host. She's not even making tips. Yeah.
No. And I'm at Dansk making a little double.
You know, yeah, that's it. Oh God.
So between the two of us,
man,
we didn't have shit. And remember, she had her $10,000 credit card debt.
Jeez.
I'm making fucking leather jewelry and Indian shit, painting fucking red rocks for $5 each. You know what I mean? It was like we were hippies. It was like, it really was. We were like a couple of fucking hippie kids that were like, wow, Arizona's pretty. Look at the red rocks. Let's live there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A
Mom,
year.
Out there panning for gold or something.
Yeah. And so, again, great experience. God, it was beautiful. I got so many cool fucking pictures.
Yeah.
It really was. I mean, I learned how to create leather bracelets and chokers and all sorts of fucking cool shit. You know what I mean? Everything's experience in my life, whether it sucks or not. I swear to God, I learn something everywhere I go.
Yeah.
But
for you,
the practical side was we were broke. We didn't make shit for money.
Yeah.
It's Arizona. It's you know, and
the upside is there's not a lot to spend it on either.
No, there sure wasn't. That's for sure. But you're looking at basically being poor and fucking never getting out and dying there kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And after half a fucking year, 9 months, we're just like, what do we do? What did we do? Why did we do?
Yeah.
And so Casey was what?
I thought you were there longer than that, but I guess
no, a year, 1 year.
Okay. Yeah.
And Casey convinced us to go to Vegas, and it worked because
there's money there.
Lots of money there. I made the most money in Vegas than anywhere in my life. You know what I mean? And
believe it.
I ended up staying in Vegas 7 fucking years.
Yeah.
And never intended to even go there on vacation. I had no desire.
When you've been dirt poor, that money thing is kind of nice.
Well, that's what's crazy. And again, I didn't start off because I started as an accounting in the Hard Rock.
Yeah.
$10 an hour, $11 an hour, whatever.
Right.
It was cool, But as soon as I got the bar backing job, because you do bar back and then bartend. I mean, even as a bar back, I was making more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the longer you stay, the better shifts you get, and you advance. And suddenly, in tips on a day, I'm getting $150 cash tips plus your check every 2 weeks. And that's 1 day. You know what I mean? Yeah. Then I was good at gambling. And I'm not just saying that for I have witnesses. I have fucking my brother's one of them. Yeah. I was good at gambling, so I would win. So that $150 cash, I would come home with $300. You know what I mean?
Right.
So Vegas worked for me. My problem is I'm a good guy. I have a good heart on the inside. I'm a bad on the a good guy in black. That's how I like to describe myself. Yeah. You know what I mean? I have conscience, I have morals, and that ain't the kind of person who survives in Vegas. and I had a real problem with
Well, you
the
might
lifestyle.
you might survive there, but you won't excel.
I did survive there. You're right.
You won't excel. Is the problem.
If I could have, like now, I'd be a success. Actually, I wouldn't because now I'm too old. You know,
Right.
my looks are gone, physique is going. You got to be young and good looking and all that great shit. You know what I mean? Now
wives and stuff like to go to Vegas too.
What's that?
Those middle-aged housewives and stuff like to go to
Well,
Vegas.
oh, of course, but I'm just saying if you're in the workforce, if you're bartending or hostess, you got to be young. Okay.
Don't leave out the East Coast syndromes, you know.
The East Coast syndrome. I'd never heard of that until Vegas. I remember Vinny, the Italian fucking bartender. He's what talking about the East Coast syndrome. He's like, always wait for the chick to get up from the bar stool behind the bar. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah.
He's like, East Coast syndrome. I'm like, what the fuck is East Coast syndrome? He's like, you know what East Coast? No. He's like, you know, they look good from like the chest up. But they get up and they're like this, and the motherfucker was right. Because then I started, that once you're like, really? And then you start, and you're right. East Coast girls have that. And that's why everyone loves California girls, because they're fucking long legs, straight, you know what I mean? All the way down. I'm like, okay, East Coast syndrome, got it. Yeah, like now I know how it works. But the thing is I would have to get over being good. It's like you'd have to detox the goodness out of you. Like you'd have to say, look, I'm going to just dance on the dark side while I'm here. You know, no guilt. I'm going to fuck over chicks and fuck over people and lie and cheat and steal and act like I'm the shit.
See this?
What's he doing?
He wants to go out.
Oh, he wants to go out. Of course he is.
Doing that. He'll come over here and put his head on me.
That's awesome, dude.
Quit that. Usually, if I kick my legs up here, he'll put his head up here on me.
Really?
Whatever I'm looking at. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, he wants to go out, I think.
Oh.
Here.
All right.
Got a scratch.
But you know what I'm saying? You'd have to get rid. You couldn't be good. Yeah. And that's my problem is remember I told you about that young high school girl who was all fucked up who knocks on my door at 3 a.m. that one night?
Yeah.
And I called her. I was talking to her boyfriend. I called the Hard Rock. I walked her over to the Hard Rock, got her a cab. Not only did the cab driver look at me like he was in shock.
Yeah.
The security guards out there were looking at me like, who the fuck are you? This doesn't happen in Vegas. And they told her, they said, honey, they said, you found the one good guy in Vegas. They said, no, guys don't do this kind of thing. But that's my instinct. I'm like, I'm not going to take advantage of this fucking chick. I'm going to rape her. You know what I mean? Right. It's like,
dude, you know,
that's Vegas. That's how they do it. I am not that way. So therefore, I would have never been a huge success. You know what I mean?
You know, years ago, I came out of my house, and I mean, this is stuff I used to do when I was younger. I would go wash my car in the middle of the night, and it's 2 or 3 in the morning, whatever. I'll take the dog for a walk.
Yeah,
and so I go out, and I get to the bottom of the steps, and I was kind of look one way, look the other way, and then just kind of decide which way I'm going to go.
Right.
I looked right and I looked left, and here comes this girl staggering up the sidewalk.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, you should have got a T-shirt that said "victim" on it or something.
No shit.
Drunk, lost, and everything, and I'm like, wanted to use the phone. It's back. We didn't have cell phones back then.
Yeah. No.
And I forgot when she came up. You know, I got one of my rifles disassembled on the kitchen table.
Oh, shit.
She's probably gonna think I'm like, she just wanted to call a cab, you know. And I'm like, here's the phone. But yeah, I mean, it's just, what are you thinking?
Yeah,
man, you know.
But that's Vegas, you know, and you're right. Like I said,
asking for it, doing something like that. Yeah.
If I worked myself, well, I don't know what the word is, de-exercised myself
Yeah.
As in got rid of the good and embraced the bad and the selfish and the
reformed yourself.
I would have been fucking great because I'm good at being bad.
And you had a sleazy lawyer for a neighbor.
I mean, dude, it was like all laid out for me. It was like it was almost like the devil said, "All right, buddy, you're here now. Now we're gonna make it work." And it's like he laid out this path. Here you go, just start walking. And I'm like,
that
this
works.
doesn't feel right. And he's like, oh, Jesus Christ. And he just keeps laying out more path. Like, just keep walking. That's all you got to do, dude. And I'm just like, I don't know. So, no, it wouldn't have worked for me. And so my aunt and grandma were right. They're like, it wasn't good for me.
When Alex was working at that other bar, it was the same guy that owned the back porch. He opened up another bar called the Porch of All Sorts. I think that's where we were at.
Yeah.
Some drunk girl in there needs a ride home, right?
Right.
And we were getting ready to leave. I was there with Noah, I think, and I don't want, whatever, fine, okay,
right.
I'm a pushover,
right?
So I said something to Alex. Yeah, he needs a ride home, whatever. I'll just drop her off over her house or whatever, and Alex said something about, well, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. Okay. So we left. There was some kind of confusion there because he calls me like 5 minutes later saying she's freaking out, like crying because we just left. I didn't know anything, I'm like, fucking whatever, man. So Alex works it out. I can't remember if he took her home or maybe somebody that worked at the bar took her home and dropped her off at her apartment or whatever. Alex calls me back or tells me the next day or something. I can't remember. She shows up back at the bar like an hour or two later.
Weird.
Fucking beat up looking and just all fucked up, man.
What the fuck?
I don't know if she got into it with her boyfriend or something, or got all banged up and showed up back at the bar again, man.
Jesus Christ.
Man, am I glad I didn't get in the middle of that mess.
Yeah, I tell you, women really are stupid, man. Especially when they're young. They just are stupid. Yeah. They just, like I said, Vegas, I remember these two chicks, and they're so gullible. They're so easy. These two girls, literally, it was a blonde and brunette, friends, I forget from where, and, hung out with them at the bar and all this stuff. And I ended up going out with both. I remember I took both of them out for sushi.
Yeah.
At Rock Lobster, like $150 dinner. So they were my bitches for the night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like
they kind of knew, I guess we're sticking with you tonight. And so they both spent the night and it was great, But they left the next morning and a couple of days later I'm at the bar and there they are again. Hey, that was great. Okay, cool. And they were there on a week vacation. Oh,
wow.
And they're talking about staying. Oh my God, this is great. That kind of shit. You know what I mean?
You told me about them. Yeah, they were talking about like relocating, just staying put. Yeah.
Like not taking the flight home and just staying. Yeah. And I told them, I said, girls, you're a dime a dozen. I said, how many? At that point, I was at the Hard Rock already for like 3-4 years. And a lot of girls did that. They would come on vacation for a week. They would fall in love with the attention because, the guys are nuts. Yeah. The attention, the money, the gambling, the free drinks, the nightlife. And these chicks can't handle it. And they get, it's like Satan. That's what temptation and seduction is.
Yeah.
And he just pulls them right in and they don't fly home. And in a fucking month, they're turning tricks. I shit you not,
Drugs or whatever.
Or they're a stripper or something. But it's not like they get their resume together and get an accounting job. No, they want the fucking glamour and crap. Well, guess what, bitch?
Yeah.
You know what you got to do for that?
Yeah.
It's always something sexual. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like Hollywood, man.
It is, and so these two chicks, I told them that. I said, look, if you two want to be junkie strippers in a month, please stay. Because it's not like there's a shortage of them in Vegas. You know what I mean? I said, this is what's going to happen. I said, I'm just warning you. I said, you two are cool. And sure, you can do whatever the fuck you want. But I'm telling you, this happens all the time. We've seen it tons of times.
Yeah.
Girls like you get seduced into staying and all this crap. And in one fucking month, you're in trouble. And you are going to be fucking either dancing on a pole or sucking dick. You know what I mean? If you want that, then fucking stay. It's just crazy, dude. You know, where guys don't do that. Maybe they get hooked on the gambling and they're like, I can gamble and make money this way. You know what I mean? But most of the guys will be like, well, fuck, I'll see who's hiring. You know, if this bar's hiring or if this place is hiring. They're like more logical. They're just like, well, I want to stay, so I need a job. Girls are like, oh, I want to stay. I'm sure I'll get money somehow. You know, it's just like.
And the easiest job for them to get in a lot of cases is at the strip club.
Yeah. It's having a guy pay for them. You know, so they'll shack up with a guy.
Yeah.
But the way Vegas guys are, they don't want relationships. They're like, yeah, you can stay for a week. And then they're kicking the fuck out. Well, now what are you going to do? So now the girl is broke and literally homeless.
Yeah.
So you're going to try to get another guy to buy. You see, it's a mess. So
yeah.
If I could do it over, I guess I would have just said, well, it's time to be a bad guy. Time to give everyone what they wanted. But, you know, everyone thought I was a bad guy. Okay, I'll show you a fucking bad guy. And just be a son of a bitch. And, dude, I would have been 3 times. I would have 3 times the amount of money. Shit. I mean, women, all that shit. But I would have had to get into drugs and sell them and be a pimp. But like you said, my lawyer laid out the plan. I'm your lawyer. We're neighbors. Work it out, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, what the fuck was I thinking? But see, I'm a good guy. I couldn't do it. I couldn't smack a girl around. Dude, I can't even think about that. But that's what you'd have to do.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. Fuck that. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. You gotta...
I'm glad I survived and left with the success that I had, because 7 years, a lot of people are fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was. And so I'm like, I guess I'd be grateful.
When I was at Kroger, they had a place that they opened up out in Vegas. It was not pharmaceutical, supplements, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It was all over the place. I mean,
you
remember Ralph's out in California?
Yeah.
That's Kroger. They own them.
Really?
Yeah. I can't tell you how much stuff they own. We went on vacation down to Florida one year. We stopped at a hotel down there in Perry, Georgia, and you know they give you the breakfast in the morning and they get the omelets or whatever. And I asked for hot sauce, and the one they brought out and set down was a Kroger brand. It was an all name, but as soon as I saw it was the Wise Owl brand.
Wow, that's funny.
Like that's a Kroger brand all the way down here because you know Publix owns the South.
Yeah.
But this was in southern Georgia, and they had products, but they got places all over out west and stuff. They're all over the place, just with different names and stuff. But we had some guys that I remember at least one of them that went out there to work at their whatever it was. It was some sort of not pharmaceutical, but a supplement distribution center or something. I don't know, ate them there or packaged them or who knows, whatever. But I just remember going, you know, there's just too much sand and no beach, you know?
Yeah.
You know,
that's the thing is, you know me, I love the desert. Again.
But there's no beach. I mean, it's all that sand.
But I love the desert. It's like, looking back, you know, hindsight's 2020. Looking back,
desert in Sedona was probably better than desert in Vegas.
No, because I would go to the Valley of Fire. It was 33 miles north.
Okay.
It was an hour drive. Well, 45-minute drive. That was my church. You know, that's where I detoxed, because after drinking and pills and strippers and hookers and hard rock shit and fucking driving drunk and gambling, it fucks with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like dirty. It dirties your soul.
Right.
I would cleanse myself by going to Valley of Fire State Park alone. I brought a lot of girls there. I was surprised how, looking back, I'm like, I took a lot of chicks out to the Valley of Fire to hike. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It was like it was almost like a test.
Yeah.
Like, can this chick handle this? And if she can, I'll keep seeing her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but for me, I was climbing rocks barehanded without a shirt. I mean, dude, I was wearing jean shorts and high tops. You know what I mean? And I was climbing 300-foot walls of rocks and crap alone, like without a care in the world. You know, I'm not gonna fall. You know what I mean? No cell phone, no nothing. It's amazing how indestructible you are when you're younger, you know? And I was 30, I was like 30, you know?
There was a time where I used to get these 55-gallon drums at work. You know, they're about 500 pounds.
Yeah.
I used to rock them back and roll them up onto a pallet and everything. And a few years ago, I did that, and I'm like, that's the last one. I'm going to get hurt if I keep doing it. Man, I just can't keep doing it.
It's weird as you get older. You really, I forget what the word of the phrase, but it's like you start to become more aware
of your
dying and your mortality, and you're not just having injuries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At 30, I mean, dude, it's insane how. And again, how the fuck I got away with it is beyond me. And my brother said, He's like, you're fucking luck. You had more luck in that kind of shit than he's like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like, you're right. It's not, because it wasn't just like one or two occasions. You're talking years of living that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a way of life. And because when in Rome, do as the Romans do. And they said 1 out of every 3 people in Vegas on the road is drunk. Think about it.
Doubt that one bit.
I know it because the amount of accidents every day is insane. It's like 3-4 car pileup kind of accidents.
They don't talk about that stuff on the news either. They don't.
No.
Tourism. Yeah.
It's going to hurt the tourism. And the amount of drugs and the homeless and the bullshit, all that bad shit they don't talk about. It's bad publicity. And we see it when you live there and work there.
I remember Bill Cosby's kid got hit out there and killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Changing a tire or something.
Yeah. And so, again, it would have worked if I could have been a bad guy. If I could have given in, been a bad guy, it would have worked. But the thing is that eventually you're either going to wind up in prison or dead. You know, when you do that, it ain't going to end well. So,
it's going to happen.
Again, I'm grateful I got out of there with my experiences and knowledge, the stories, and all the crazy shit that I did.
Yeah.
And I'm still functioning fine to talk about. You know what I mean? But the thing that I wonder about now, I have no clue what Vegas is like now because it's been 15 years, and it's like I've heard the meth problem is a fucking nightmare out there.
Dude. Yeah,
bad. They say it's bad.
It's bad enough every place else, so you can imagine.
Yeah. And so I really wonder.
Fentanyl. I mean.
It has to be completely different than when I was there. Like I think when I was there, that was the last of the good times.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think shortly after that, because I remember the 2008 housing collapse fucked Vegas. It basically almost shut Vegas down forever. It was bad.
Well, COVID did the same thing to them. That hurt them pretty.
And then COVID as well. So you're talking in 08 they got fucked. In 19 they got fucked.
Yeah.
How do you recover from that? And so I'm like if I went back to Vegas now, it would probably suck. Like, even if I was 30 and good looking and buffed and tan like I was back then, it probably would still suck. I mean, you know, the Hard Rock's gone. It is like gone.
Yeah.
Gone. The Hard Rock shut down for good like 3 years ago. And it's gone.
Or the whole chain.
The Hard Rock Hotel and Casino and the cafe. The cafe is leveled. It doesn't exist anymore.
Right. But I mean, they got other places still, right?
Oh, other places. Oh, yeah. Florida, Atlantic City. But
we had a
Vegas
casino here.
Yeah.
Now it's something else. It's sold. It's changed names. I don't know how many times down there, but
like the Aladdin's gone. There's a lot of hotels and casinos that I frequented all the time that are just gone. And it's like, it would be so different. And anyone that I knew is gone, probably. There's no way they're still there. Or, you know what I mean? Right. The cocktail servers all become real estate agents. Like clockwork. I shit you not. Once they hit about 30, 35, they find some dude to marry who has money, of course.
Yeah.
They marry him, and then it's like they become this mother and wife kind of bullshit. They have a big house with the fucking guy that they met at the Hard Rock or wherever, and they have like 2, 3, 4 kids and a great family life, and their real estate. So they still have to have fake tits and plastic surgery and look great, because they're still presenting it.
And it's a tax write-off.
Yeah, it's just amazing. It's like they are the same person in 2 completely different worlds, but it's still the same chick, man. You know what I mean? So that's Vegas, and I'm just like,
I'm just gonna tell you something real quick here. You said you were going up 33 miles to where Red Rock?
No. There's Red Rock National Park, but I like Valley of Fire State Park.
Valley of Fire.
Valley of Fire is 33 miles north.
Okay, that
33. What's that?
Do you know what this is?
It looks, I don't know, of rock. I mean, rock, obviously. What is that? Petrified stuff? Petrified wood?
A piece of petrified wood.
I recognize it. Yeah. I got Red Rocks. I got Red Rocks from there.
We didn't get to go to the Painted Desert, but I've been all over the place. When I was a kid, Dad got huge vacations, so we drove to Mexico City one year.
Yeah.
But that year that I got that, we drove out to Yellowstone.
Oh wow!
We saw the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Petrified Forest, all this stuff out there. It was pretty neat.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big, hey, let's go camping guy, but we had an RV, so it was nice. We had a shower and everything.
Yeah.
It was a motorhome, whatever. Yellowstone was pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
When we got out there, we had to stop and wait like 30, 45 minutes for the bison to cross in front of us.
That's cool.
So many of them. We just had to sit there and wait. I remember feeding wild donkeys out the window.
Wow.
Fruit out to them and stuff, and they're just coming right up eating it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty neat out there. Yeah. So, I can kind of appreciate the desert, but I like to have a little water around too.
I know. But see, that's what the swimming pools are for.
Yeah, exactly. I'd have to have a somewhere in there or something.
The Hard Rock had the #1 swimming pool in Vegas, because every year there'd be like this, citywide voting of all the hotels and casinos and the pools, and Hard Rock was always either #1 or #2. What was it? Who was the one that would beat the Hard Rock? Maybe it was MGM or I forget, but Hard Rock was always near. It was either 1 or 2 when it came to the best pool.
Was that the Luxor?
Luxor is next to Mandalay Bay.
Okay. Was that the pyramid? The one that looks like a pyramid?
Yeah. The Luxor is the pyramid. Mandalay Bay is where Casey worked. That was the gold one. Where the shooting, that was the Las Vegas shooters at Mandalay Bay.
Yeah.
You
believe that narrative.
Yeah. Well, that's what was weird to me, because I'm watching on TV. I'm like, that's like fucking home to me. It's like, I would go meet Casey while he was at work when I had a day off. I'd meet him because he works in IT department.
Right. What year did that happen now? I can't even remember.
The shooting, I think that was like 3-4 years ago.
No, the shooting, it was longer than that.
The Las Vegas shooter?
I think so.
Probably maybe 5.
Yeah, maybe that's more likely, at least.
Let me look it up.
I bet it was farther back than that.
Probably. My memory's going. The time's starting to.
I know. I gotta
warp out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Stephen Paddock. Remember?
Who?
Wow, 2017. Holy shit.
17. There you go. Yeah, I thought
Jesus Christ, dude, it's been 17, 18, 19, 20. Fuck. I thought that was like 5 years ago.
No, 8.
Yeah, 8.
I'm way off.
Crazy. But yeah, I remember the Hard Rock shut down about 4 years ago for good. I couldn't believe that. What that hit me hard. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, that place that I worked at, like that was a life-changing, is gone. Gone.
Yeah.
Just done. No memory whatsoever there. And I'm just like, everything is changing. This sucks, man. You know what I mean?
Hey, after COVID, I mean, even stuff here, I'm going, this sucks, man. I can't go to the grocery store in the middle of the night. I can't.
You and me both.
My wife and I mean, I told you she doesn't really cook.
Right.
Well, I've been getting a lot of breakfast lately, so
that's good.
I'm good with that. It's
one of these days I'm going to hit Waffle House.
Dude, oh man, you've never been, right?
Nah.
I believe you've never been to one.
My brother said, see, that's your bucket list. He's like, dude, we're going. He's like, we're going there.
Good.
One of these days. I said, UK gives me shit about never being there, so I'll go.
I go there all the time. I mean, that was the thing. During COVID, they shut down Waffle House.
That's when they said it was serious. They're like,
their sign says 24/7, man. 365. They're open every day of the year.
Yeah.
They're open Christmas morning if you want to go there.
Right.
Now they're closed, man.
Yeah. That's what they knew it was serious.
We were trying to find I remember like things were kind of starting to open up a little bit. And she's trying to find some place to eat, White Castles, they're closed, I'm like, are you serious, man?
Yeah.
Oh God, it was horrible, man.
Yeah, that whole thing was fucked up.
I mean, they basically stole 2 years from us or whatever.
They did.
That's the way I looked at it. Like they stole our time from us.
Yeah. But what pisses me off is how it's never recovered. Shit is still not the same.
That's what I mean. It's changed everything.
The gas stations are not 24 hours. Walmart is not 24 hours. McDonald's is not 24 hours. Those 3 fucking places are what I hit all the time. McDonald's, gas stations, and Walmart's, because they were all 24 hours. And, I'm a night person.
Yeah, me too.
None of them are 24 hours, at least here. I don't know over there, but here, none of them are.
Places, but it's not like it used to be, where there's a lot of stuff open. But I mean, it's still different from. I can't say it's different in a good way. Like when we were kids, right?
Right.
Nothing was open on a holiday, right?
Right.
You just prepared for it,
dude. Even weekend, remember Sundays? It was rare for something to be open on a Sunday.
Yeah, there's no cars out hardly.
No, Sunday drivers. Remember the old saying, Sunday drivers? When we were kids, the world, everything operated, well, our country, not the world, but our country, was Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, man.
Yeah.
Nothing was open 24 hours,
There's a guy I work with, he was talking about, we were discussing that. This is a couple of years ago, we were talking about it, a few years ago. And he said, one year it was, I don't think it was Christmas Eve. It might have been Thanksgiving, kind of like that night. Like he's coasting into a gas station on fumes.
All right.
And the guy shut the lights out on.
Oh, damn.
I mean, he's like, I'll give you $20 for $5 worth of gas, and the guy is like, nope.
Yeah. It was when we were kids, it was Monday to Friday. Saturdays, some places were open, but they would always close early. Like they were never open late Saturday. It was like close at 3 or 5, whatever. And then Sundays were closed. Yeah. Not much was open on Sundays. Some things were like a grocery store or something, but a lot of the little shops were closed on Sunday. You know what I mean? And then they started, I remember as the years went by, then some places started to be open 7 days a week. We're open Sundays, And then pretty soon it's open later. Oh, we're open till midnight. And then 24 hours. And then pretty soon it was 24/7. Most places before COVID was 24/7 because it's competition.
Huh? sick, if you're sick, you can go to the pharmacy in the middle of the night.
Right.
You know, I mean, you can go fill.
And again, it's competition, because any business that closes early on Saturday and is closed Sunday, they're going to lose fucking money, because people are all 24/7 now. So everyone said, okay, well, I guess we got to be 24/7. Okay, well, now you have hire more people, workers, more hours, more pay. It worked. 24/7 did work.
If you had customers coming in, sure, yeah.
If you have customers, now you have the shifts. That's where the night shifters come in, because there weren't night. I'm a night person. You know, when I was younger, I was a night person. It was almost like society had to catch up, because I'm a night person, but there wasn't 24-hour shit. Eventually, there was 24-hour shit, and I'm like, oh, now I can operate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then COVID fucks it all up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's still not fucking back.
It's never come back. I don't know if it ever will. I mean, if it does, it's going to be a while.
It's just, I don't understand why. I don't understand why. Why?
I think these businesses I think maybe they've determined they don't need to stay open all night.
I guess.
You know, they can make some money, but it's not worth it. You know? Yeah. The other problems that come along with it, theft and whatever. Yeah. People coming in here that they don't want in the store or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
My wife stopped there's a Waffle House down there across the river in Covington. And it's been there forever. It's kind of, you know.
Yeah, little.
And she went over there to get food for this other crew coming in, because they had that was because of that marathon.
Right.
It being the next day. So they had people coming in like real early in the morning, like 3 or 4 in the morning. So she goes over there to get food, and there's a Waffle House that won't let you come in the building after time. I can't remember what time it was, but you had to basically come up and put your order in and then go sit in your car and wait, and then they'd wave you up when your food was. And she was like, yeah, they didn't let anybody in. They said nobody was allowed in until whatever, 6 a.m. or whatever. Damn. But I was like, well, it's kind of smart, because if you go into a Waffle House at 2:33 in the morning,
you see the kind of people that are in there.
Bunch of drunk people in there, man. It's always going to be, especially that one down there by town. Everybody that leaves a bar is going to go there, and I'm sure they had enough, and they just said, you know. Well, but you're getting it through the window, and you're paying before we cook it, you know.
Yeah, that's smart, but again, it just sucks that I'm waiting for everything to go back to normal, and it's not. And it's been 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah,
so,
I think determined they don't need the money from that, you know, staying open all night. It's just not.
I guess not. Yeah,
they've just decided they could do without it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of unfortunate too, because I don't do as much stuff in the middle of the night as I used to.
Right.
I don't feel like going out now, but get up and go wash my car at 1 in the morning or something.
Yeah,
all the time.
It's nice that you have the option.
Yeah,
you know, and that's what sucks, is they've taken our options away. They took them away, and they haven't replaced them. It's not back to normal, and that just really pisses me off, because I had my system down. I did everything at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we got used to that.
Yeah. So, well, dude, I'm gonna wrap this up. We did 2.5 hours tonight. Fuck, I didn't think we'd do 2.5.
Yeah.
I need to eat. I haven't eaten shit today, so I'm gonna fix a late fucking dinner. There you go. See, it's fucking gonna be 12:30. I'm eating my dinner. But you know, it's cool hanging with you, man. Thanks for hanging.
Yeah, man, it was cool. It was fun. It was
good catching up. So, again, I'm working so much. I don't really. I don't.
Yeah, I saw you
got to live stream
coming in August. You know.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping I can hit that deadline. I doubt it. I'm like, it's gonna be fucking September. I'm like, I can tell already. It's like, I already talked to my brother about the printing and shit. And I said, I'm not even gonna try to have it done before then. There's no way. I said,
Hope you do.
I still have. I'm finishing up a page in volume 2, so then I'll have a total of 8 left. But that's a lot for me. That's a lot left. It's like 8 pages is a lot because I'm also doing intervention, and I'm doing both. See, I do like 3-4 days I work on intervention, and then 2-3 days I do volume 2, and then back and forth. And I have to get the intervention shit ready because that campaign is in 3 weeks. See what I'm essentially doing. Because it's like, well, why don't you wait until volume 2 is done and then deal with intervention? Because what you want to have happen is you want to have a couple things going at once. Right now, I have nothing. I have no campaign. There's like I'm not making money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you want to have the point where you have like a campaign of some book or something, some project, the current project where you can get funding, right?
Yeah.
While you're working on the next one. So when this one you shut down, you start this one, bam. So you always want to be funding. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's the point I'm at now is it's like, okay, I'm finishing volume 2, getting ready to launch intervention. So when intervention is launched June 1st, I'm still finishing volume 2, but intervention's going too, see?
Kind of support each other,
It is. So volume 2, when that's done, August, September, intervention's still going. So printing, shipping, people get volume 2, and then basically, you decide when to shut down intervention. And then when you shut down that, then you got to do the printing, shipping, and all that stuff. So basically, I'm hoping the way it's going to work out is everyone's going to get their volume 2 like probably September, and then maybe 2 to 3 months later, everyone gets intervention.
Yeah.
See, so you're kind of getting 2 fucking books, volume 2, and then the prequel, which is intervention, within a 3-month period as opposed to like a fucking year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
I'll be happy with that.
I jump right into volume 3. So I'm hoping that if I can get intervention done, I'm thinking October, November now.
Yeah.
Then I can hit volume 3 in December. And that's the only thing I'm doing because volume 2's done, intervention's done, a fresh start on volume 3. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Danny's going to be editing that. Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
Like officially.
I think you did tell me that. Yeah.
I talked to her and I said, we'll get more details, but she said, yeah, she said, I'll do it. So basically Danny's going to help edit volume 3. And I told her, I said, depending on how things goes, we may start this like end of the year, like December. I said, definitely January at latest, but we may start end of the year, volume 3. And I think if everything goes well, we definitely will do that. So that's cool. I'm looking forward to volume 3. And she'll be a help, that's for sure. So I get to put her name on the book because I told her, I said, if she's an editor, I said, your name's going on the book. So that'll be cool. But yeah, man, that's the plan. So yeah, I launch June 1st. I'm gonna I still have to do the fucking the campaign. I haven't even done the campaign yet. So I gotta make I have to do the campaign. And while I'm still doing drawings, because you have to have drawings for the campaign to post so people see what the fuck it's about and stuff. So like I said, volume 2 and intervention, that's all I do day and night, 7 days. In fact, like when I'm off with you, I'm going to eat dinner and then because I'm close to finishing a panel for intervention. So I'll be doing that tonight after I eat. So yeah, I'm just constantly busy, and that's why I'm not live streaming much. But like I said, I told you this before.
I knew you were busy. Yeah.
Yeah. If something comes up, in the world or news or some related topic, and you want to, let me know, and we'll do this again on a Saturday night. Because I know you're only free Saturday nights, but it's like
best night for me. Yeah. I mean, I could do it on a Friday night even, but
yeah.
Well, what time I'm getting home Friday?
Yeah. Saturday nights seem to work. And since we're not streaming much, like I said, this is the first time in like 2 months.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter. So yeah, let me know how things go. But that's kind of what I'm doing. So again, tell Kathy I said hey, and hopefully she's safe. And get your dog out. Make sure he doesn't.
He decided to bed down. I'm a little surprised he didn't get a little more pushy and say I want out. You know.
Yeah, that's cool. Well,
yeah,
get him out.
Took him out in the break when we went out. That's when I took him out and made his food.
That's cool.
Like, he's better than I do.
That's cool.
Jeez.
But yeah, man.
Check out that. Watch the video in that
the Blaze
thing I sent you because it's about 4 minutes long. So maybe while you're working, but
yeah,
interesting.
And I have
in there, man. Yeah,
I'm sure that looks cool, and I still have to watch Taylor's stuff. I got to do this audiobook, this Book of Enoch audiobook.
A bunch of videos, yeah.
Dude, all sorts of stuff.
Some of those, yeah.
So I'll have plenty of stuff to watch and listen to while I work now. So, but thanks for hanging, and
man, I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Always good seeing you and catching up, and we'll probably next time we'll do the phone. But like I said, if something comes up, we can live stream again. You know what I mean?
You want to talk or something over the weekend or whatever? Let me know.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a text. I will. All right, man. You take care, brother.
You do the same.
All righty. We'll see you, man. Have a good night. Later.